Now my confidence is shot. Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. The second before we were coming on the air, I said to Ben, guttural? You know, should I give it the guttural yell? And he looked like...
I said yes.
You did? I didn't hear you. He goes,
I said, you got to.
I don't know. Why the waffling?
Oh, they won
Who
the
cares?
entire weekend.
They won.
I mean, for the pitching staff, give the pitching staff a guttural.
Yeah,
yell.
for sure.
All right.
Yeah!
That's for the pitching staff.
Yeah,
okay.
The offense gets a little... That's what you guys get. But, hey, boy. Yeah. Hey, boy. We scratched out some dubs, didn't we? They sure did, man. San Diego
What
Padres.
game were you watching?
Yeah, hey, I don't know.
I saw 2 dubs this
I
weekend.
saw 2 dubs against one of the hottest teams in baseball, boy. You want a bloody beer? We'll talk about it. I loved it. This is phenomenal. My blood pressure went through the roof all weekend long. But welcome into the program, everybody. Great to have you here. I'm Woodsy. To my right is Paul Reindl, who hit, by the way, the longest single in the history of baseball yesterday. Absolute piss missile to the fence. Thought they caught it, and ended up with a single, but hit a ball so hard, Paulie. It's one of those balls you hit so hard you feel good about it for like a week.
Yeah.
You're like, God, I got that one. I thought it was going out. I really did.
So you got to like first and you started turning around.
He
go back
kinda
to the
like-
dugout.
I mean,
or-
I knew I tagged it, so
He
I
tagged it.
I rounded first, and then I like heard some cheering or like a "Are you kidding me?" or something.
Yeah.
So I heard something.
He heard something.
We didn't have anybody coaching first, like waving
Nope.
me or anything. So I'm kind of like halfway in between, and I just kind of held up. And
2
I was
guys
like,
converged like near the fence.
Yeah.
Where he hit it.
and I thought somebody caught it and kind of trailed back to first.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was like, where's he going?
what happened? What happened here? I'm like,
Dude,
whatever.
It's
Like by the time I realized it did drop, I was like, I can't get thrown out at second.
Yeah,
at this point.
dude.
I'm like,
Yeah,
just
dude.
go back, just go back, just go back.
he caught every square inch of that torpedo barrel of his. That ball torpedoed out of there. It was fantastic. Tier 1's won a baseball game yesterday under weird circumstances. Wanted to give a shout out to Matt. Is it not Matt? Hang on, I got it right here from the the Diablos. I think it's Coach Matt, if I'm not mistaken. They showed up, played a team called the Diablos. They had 8 guys to start, and so you can play with 8. You just have to take an out in the 9 spot.
Last game of the year.
Last game.
And
Yeah,
2
Matt.
of the lower teams in
Yeah.
our division. So we were all just kind of
We're having
on
fun.
fumes, just trying to get to the finish line.
Well, so they had 8 guys to start. We're up 6-0. They come to bat. Our pitcher had shoved. He had 9 Ks at that point. He was nasty, and one got away from him, and he hit Matt in the face. He throws hard. He was the guy that got picked up by the Pioneer League.
I guess 88,
At least,
89, 90.
and right in the face, and blood, the whole bit, and it was pretty revolting to see. And my man, they took him out of the game, obviously, and sent him to the hospital. But they had to bang the game after that because they were down to 7 players. So we took the cheap win. Luckily, we were up 6-0 at that point and feeling good. But shout out to Matt. We hope you're feeling better, buddy. He's in good spirits. I was talking with one of our boys, Mikey, who's on that team, and finally got a dub yesterday. So that feels good. And
Scary season for the weekend Warriors, man. We had a guy tear his ACL in one of our games.
Yep.
We had the guy have to leave yesterday after taking 90 to the face.
yeah, dude.
Gotta be careful out there.
Yeah, be careful out there. It's just a game after all. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
just to address the elephant in the room, I am wearing different glasses.
Okay.
I left my regular specs at home.
Oh,
I
okay.
got in the car and they weren't there. So these are my backup / golf glasses.
Oh,
but
okay.
same prescription. So I can see, just look a little bit different
Yeah, you
on
look-
the YouTube stream.
You look good.
I think before we do anything else, though, got to address the big news. How long do you have left to live?
That's a good question.
When we left you on Friday, you were thinking really bad thoughts due to some striations on your feet. There could have been some blood vessels, and Google WebMD kind of got you spun out about potential serious
Really, it was the numbing.
medical issues. Yeah, numbing.
It was the numb foot. And yeah, so I went and got blood work done. Went and got blood work done on Friday, which, by the way, is one of the lowest tier experiences you can have. I don't want to call out the company by name, but you know who I'm talking about.
There's only one.
There's really only one, which in and of itself is a problem. That's a problem. That's called a monopoly. They have a monopoly on the blood drawing business. And I made an appointment for 10:30. I walked out of there at 11:30.
The actual drawing of the blood taking
30
approximately
seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah.
30 seconds to get my blood. Put it in a tube. I had to go PP2. They had to do that because they wanted to do a urinalysis. Good luck there. And
Are we expecting a suspension coming up here?
it was not work ordered. It was not work ordered. I'll just leave it at that.
Breaking. Stephen Woods has been suspended
80
for
games.
80 days.
80 shows.
Tested positive for, well, just about everything.
Everything
Second
is
offense will be a full year.
everything is
life.
everything is above board. Everything is legally prescribed mostly by physicians. So
Hey, is this true? Did you take this?
And this.
And this one?
oh my God, how are you alive? Oh my God. Yeah. So they had to do that, but it really is one of the lower tier experiences on a Friday, by the way. And remember, I left. So the funny part is I left the show about 10 minutes early. Thank you guys for letting me do that. Got down there in the 15 minutes before they say, come check in 15 minutes before your scheduled appointment. So I was there 15, checked in right on time. Okay. I walked into the waiting room. I go, oh my God, there were 75 people cramped in a room sitting there like all holding their papers and their urine bottles. And I go, oh my God. So no place to sit, nothing.
I do the remote check-in where I just sit in my car because I know how bad that waiting room is.
Dude.
Just lined up with those chairs
So-
where you're like in an airplane.
So essentially. So I did that too. They're like, we'll text you when it's ready. The nearest parking spot was, this is not exaggerating. The nearest parking spot was 150 yards from the front door. So I'm sitting in the car, I'm watching a documentary, and I get the text. Your person will see you now. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm in like a dead sprint for 150 yards till I get to the door. I push the door open. I'm like, I'm here. So is Steve in here? I'm like, I'm right here. Then, you know what that was for? Here's your paperwork. Let's do this. Here's your urinalysis bottle. It was another 40 minutes of sitting in the waiting room at that point, waiting for my blood to be drawn. So again, low tier experience. I hate it. I do feel in this day and age of modern medicine, I should be able to go to the doctor at 11 a.m., get my blood drawn from the physician or the physician's assistant, and in that 30-minute allotted time that I'm there for my physical, you come back with my fresh, clean blood work, right? That's the no-brainer. Don't send me out there for an hour and a half, hour
I've
wait.
had the exact same experience. I know you don't want to name names, but it definitely rhymes with Cab Lorp.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it rhymes with. And they're not friendly in there, and then for good reason. One guy walked in. I swear to God, old man walks in, opens the door, clearly a walk-in. He goes, "Mother of God." And I go, bro, I feel you, dude. I absolutely feel you on that one. Mother of God. It was so good. So that got done, and it was fine, man. Off to the weekend. Like once I got the blood drawn, and I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna let go and just enjoy my family and enjoy my weekend. We had so much stuff to do. We had a 5-year-old birthday party Friday night from 4 to 6. Then we had a 5-year-old birthday party Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 11. Then we had a 1-year-old birthday party from 11:30 to 1:30. That was Saturday. So, and one was at the beach, one was at the park. We did that. Then we decided to take the kids up to the Big A in Anaheim. Now, I'd been there for one game before. Hannah had never been, and the kids had never been. But we looked at the matchup, and we thought, well, Bo loves Zach Neto. He loves Mike Trout. He loves Julio Rodriguez. He loves Randy Arozarena. He's like, I'm so excited. So we got seats right on the left field wall. They were on the left field line.
Foul line.
But we were the seats, like we could reach down and touch the field if we wanted to. They were awesome. Got a ball from the ball boy. I got to give a shout out to one Randy Arozarena. Let me tell you about this guy, dude. every inning between innings, coming over, waving to all the kids, tipping his hat to the kids, giving a little Gucci goo to the little kids, throwing balls in the stands, really having. In fact, Ben, they do this. I don't think I've seen this before. Ground ball to shortstop. Shortstop picks it up, throws to first base, 1 away. They throw it around the infield. The last guy to catch it's the third baseman. You know what he does? He throws it out to the outfield for Randy Arozarena to throw it in the crowd. Every out that they make, unless there's runners on or something, but they throw it out, and Randy looks, you, and throws it in the crowd.
Well, it actually makes sense because, anytime a pitcher bounces a ball, they take it out of play. But when you hit a ground ball, obviously that thing's bounced a few times.
Yep.
Yet they throw it around the horn and give it back to the pitcher like he's going to use it again. But technically, you should be taking that ball out of play just like any other ball that hits the ground.
And a big shout out to Angels fans. You guys are awesome. I mean, the nicest, friendliest, most accommodating. They had such great ushers. Like, everybody there was just so nice and polite. Now, we wore third-party hats because we're not giant attention-seeking turds like some fan bases. So we just Taylor wore his every Major League Baseball team logo hat. Bo wore his Savannah Bananas hat. I wore my melon hat that says Strictly Business on it. We wore those because, look, we're not looking for attention. We don't need to walk into their stadium when you're not playing our beloved San Diego Padres and wear a Padres hat. Not trying to start any beef. Just want to go watch a ball game with my family. So we didn't dress in full uniform or anything like that. We just went to watch a game, and it was such a great experience, man. Phenomenal. Have you been there? I'm sure many times.
It's been a while, but yeah, I've been there 3 or 4 times for games.
So then woke up yesterday, and we added a new mouth to the litter. We have a new family member in the Woods household, and it is we rescued a little cat. That's cat number 4 in our home. Paulie's going to put it up on the live stream if you can see it. There's Bo and Taylor with their new kitty. Now,
super cute.
He's super cute. He's super sweet. So we have not come up with a name yet.
I think you just did.
What?
Cat number 4.
Cat number 4. Oh, I like that.
I like that name.
Quattro. So we kick some ideas around.
Number 4.
We kick some ideas around. We already have an orange kitty. So we have in our home, we have Manny Meowchado, we have Tiger Woods, and we have Orange Cat. Because we lost our beloved Orange Cat, we're just going to keep getting Orange Cats. Now, this one's an Orange Cat, but we obviously can't have Orange Cat 1 and 2.
Good, but
good. So we went around.
OJ.
We thought it's a great name. OJ.
Orenthal.
Yes, Orenthal the cat. Just sharpest claws you've ever seen. So we were kicking around ideas. Bo likes Fernando Tatis.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
I mean, with Manny Machado and
Fernando
Tatis.
But with him slumping, do we want to tie him? Do we want to be tied to Fernando Tatis Jr. right now? So then Hannah likes Jackson Farrell, which I like a lot.
Not bad either.
Taylor's suggestion was Gatorade. Was the name of his suggestion? He wants to call him Gatorade.
I love Taylor.
Taylor, so he's the GOAT, dude. He's the GOAT.
Gatorade.
Joseph says Will Meowers. No, I actually want this cat to do stuff, not just pretend like he likes to be a cat. I want him to be invested in a cat.
I've been spending the last 2 minutes trying to think of a Mike Schilt pun. So if anybody else smarter than me has one,
something with Shilty. Yeah. So that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to do Gatorade. Walked to the dugout yesterday to play baseball, and 4 of the ones were like, "Every day my cheese sucks," and I started dying.
My
laughing.
wife said it all weekend. We were dying.
My beloved youngest son Taylor gets his baby bell. What I failed to mention, and Hannah's like, "How could you forget the best part of the story?" Hannah put a little Baby Bell cheese on his breakfast plate to get him some protein because he just refuses to eat anything but fruit. And he picked up the cheese, and he actually threw it across the room when he said, "Every day my cheese sucks," and he threw it across the room. I'm like, all right, well, it's pretty good.
Thinking about that story from Friday, and I'm like, you know what?
The greatest.
I get it.
I get it too. Taylor, he's frustrated.
You had a long day at work. You just come home. All you want is a nice piece of cheese.
Yeah.
And every day your cheese
Every
sucks.
day my cheese sucks. This is like it's my favorite thing he's ever said. So it was great, man. Good weekend. Taught Taylor how to ride a bike yesterday with no training wheels. So he does very well for straight long distances. Anytime the handlebars go slightly, it's over. So, but very straight. If he was running a straight race. Nobody
lose a kid.
Nobody beat. Yes, I was like, stop! And I had to run down the street to get him.
Dominic's got a good one. Yuki Katsui.
Yuki Katsui's really good.
Wandi
Peralta. How do we get a Schilt name? Boy, you named your cat after me.
Just name him Mike Schilt.
Mike Schilt. Shilty.
Or Shilty.
So yeah, he's very cool, very sweet. And now my house is a literal cattery. So we've got 4 cats running around.
I think Gatorade's got to be the leader in the club.
I kind of like it too. Gatorade. It's really sweet. It's really sweet. I kind of like it.
It does come in orange. So
comes in orange.
Does work.
How was your fella's weekend?
Yeah, pretty relaxing. Mostly stayed at home during the weekend. Started watching Stick on Apple after your recommendation. Enjoyed it. They just dropped the first 3 episodes, so we got through those yesterday. And watched a lot of baseball. Padres baseball. Tense games every single time.
So you were waiting for today then to celebrate Sex Day, which today is on the rundown. I'm not making this up. I looked at the rundown and it says, what day is it today? First day is Sex Day.
I didn't make it up. Google
is it because it's June 9th?
Yeah. Well, it's the 9th day of the year and it's the 6th day of the month.
That's right. The old
6th month of the year.
6th month of the year.
6th month.
Yes. 6/9.
6/9.
How are we all celebrating? Well, Sex Day today. I was looking forward to it. It's an official day. Like, what do you?
You celebrate every other
celebrate
holiday.
Christmas, Easter. Like we could celebrate all these other days, right?
Have to run it by the missus, I guess.
Probably be celebrating alone. Is my guess, as usual.
Deep in thought.
Do you
get like a card and flowers for this holiday?
I have no idea. This is the first I've heard of it. I didn't know it was a real thing until
Stroganoff.
Until right now.
Settle down in the chat.
Everyone, look at the
settle
chat.
down in the chat.
Everyone is saying cowgirl.
Settle down.
That'd be great. That would be great. New one.
Are you ready to set the menu for the program?
Cowgirl?
Again, that's a non-on the air podcast.
It's actually from Off the Air.
Off the Air podcast.
Ben Woods Off the Air.
All right, we're going to check traffic with Kelly Danek.
Happy Sex Day to everyone.
Happy Sex Day to Kelly Danek.
Whoa.
Well, she's about to check the traffic out there.
God dang.
Yeah, wish happy days to everybody out there in our cast of characters.
I don't think you can, dude.
This is like, wow. I mean, it's like Memorial Day. You don't say Happy Memorial Day.
I don't know. You can walk up to women and go, "Hey, Happy Sex Day." I think it gets you arrested, dude. To be honest with you.
And then we will come back from Kelly's traffic and set the menu for the program.
Put your pants back on.
Monday morning
cow.
On 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Hope you all had a great weekend. Back to it on a Monday, and I'll tell you, we are off to a busy start. Let me start with this northbound 805. Right before the 163, accident has been cleared out of lanes, but up ahead before Governor, got another crash. This one is over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on westbound 8. Right before Greenfield, there is a collision involving several vehicles, mostly in the center divide, but then another crash up ahead before 2nd Street. This one's got the fast lane blocked. On the coastline, tow truck is on scene of a crash southbound 5 before Cannon. This one has got the 2 right lanes blocked. We've also got some foggy conditions to take into consideration. So yeah, just leave a little extra time for travel. Be extra careful once you're out there. Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurants protein bowls are here for a limited time, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love. Just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Woods just got a
it's got DM from our boy Mikey that we played yesterday. And
no.
he sent me a picture. Check your phone. The guy Matt on that team.
Oh my God,
Dude, bro, that just wrecked my
the one
day.
who took the 88 to the face.
Yeah, dude,
yesterday.
right to the eye. He says, check the legend out. Few fractures and 10 to 13 stitches.
that's a
around.
lot of stitches.
Oh, Matty, I'm so sorry, buddy. Our pitcher felt terrible. The whole team felt terrible. We love these guys. They're a great team to play, and it was such a fun game up until that point. And oh man, Matty, please feel better. God bless. That's about as bad as it gets. So sorry about that, pal. That looks not great. It's a hard sport.
All right, here's what we got coming up on the program today. Obviously, lots of Padres talk going through the weekend that was in Milwaukee. Of course, we went into the weekend going, you just lost games with Nick Pivetta and Dylan Sheets starting to the Giants.
Who is Dylan Sheets?
Dylan Cease starting against the Giants.
He gets really flustered on National Sex Day, you guys.
My goodness. And you were counting on Brady Vasquez, Steven Kolek, and Ryan Berger to pitch against one of the hottest teams in baseball. They had won like 13 of 17 coming into the series. And of course, they didn't give up a single run. Not one starting pitcher gave up a single run this weekend for the San Diego Padres.
Crazy, man.
I mean, that's nuts when you think about it. Against a team, this isn't against the Colorado Rockies, mind you, where they shut them out for an entire series earlier this year.
Yeah.
This is a decent team that's fighting for the playoffs. That's been playing really good baseball.
Excellent baseball,
And they
man.
could not
at home,
not play to run against any of the Padres starting pitchers.
That's just fantastic work, man. It's fantastic work from our starting pitching staff. Bullpen was really fantastic this weekend as well. You know, literally one pitch notwithstanding. And I must have watched that pitch from Saturday night 100 times thinking, is that a good pitch or is that a bad pitch? I mean, it went for a home run. So, you know, obviously it was a bad pitch, 98 up in the zone, though. I mean, a guy that doesn't hit a lot of bombs, you take your chances there. But really, the bullpen was outstanding. The starting pitching, Ben, has been brilliant. And just like we all said, easily, you know, Kolek, Berger, and who else? Randy Vasquez.
I specifically said, man, when I was writing down the matchups for this weekend, and
I felt so good.
Vasquez and who was it? Vasquez, Kolek, and Berger. And I go, that's got to be at least 2 dubs.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 dubs.
I'm telling you, I was a wreck, man. That series was the blood pressure spiker. It really was. The blood pressure.
That whole last week.
Yeah, it really was.
Since May 21st, they have not won a game by more than 2 runs. And
since May 23rd, they have not won a game by more than 2
1 or
runs.
2 every single time.
Whew.
And they've only lost 2 by more than that. So essentially almost every game they play is a 1 or 2 run game. It is all stressful, you know, biting your nails watching the Padres baseball lately.
I think Manny Machado, he of the, you know, future Hall of Famer Manny Machado said that was playoff baseball for the last week. And it absolutely felt like playoff baseball, period. I know it's June, but the way that those games were, both teams, it's Giants series too. I mean, you want to talk about competing, dude. Those 3 teams, you know, competed their asses off. They really, really did. And, you know, take your Padres fan hat off and say, man, those were some really, really good baseball games. I mean, it was heavy.
Got a couple of special guests for you. It's Monday. That means our Linsider, Dennis Lynn from The Athletic, will be with us to talk Padres baseball at 8:35, but at 7:35 to talk both a little SDFC and Padres. Very familiar face to listeners of 97.3, or familiar voice to listeners of 97.3 The Fan. Craig Elsten's going to be back with us, was always a regular on our program. We thought, well, why not do it again? Craig was interested. We were interested. So we decided to make it happen. So we'll welcome Craig back to the show. Very looking much forward to that at 7:35 this morning. Around that, we'll tell you about some giveaways and, of course, our regular segments that we usually have. But let's keep it moving. Want to get to our wrap-up of a winner on Sunday against the Milwaukee Brewers and start talking about the weekend series. Coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, we'll start the week by talking about our longest-running sponsor, 7 Mile Casino. They've been with us from essentially the beginning of the Ben and Woods program, but before we started this show. I had never been there.
Nope.
And I was skeptical because I go, I would have known if there was a really cool card room and it was this close to downtown San Diego, I'm sure I would have heard something. And then I went in the first time and I go, this is actually really extremely cool. What a great space.
Probably like you and a lot of people listening, I'd passed it 100 times and thought, what is that? What is it? I never thought to go in. Went in, had a great lunch that first day, sat down, played some California-style blackjack, had a ball doing it. So check it out. It's a smoke-free environment for you. They got a great patio. You can sit outside, have a beer, look at the bay. You can sit at the bar. They got TVs everywhere. Just a great spot. Check it out for yourself. Best part, it's just 7 minutes from downtown.
It is, and they cater to high-limit players. If you've got a big stack, you want to sit down at a Texas Hold'em table, California-style blackjack, please do. Otherwise, just go to friends, have a great time. It's comfortable. It's a fun place to be. Again, 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Benjamin, that man, Manny Machado. What a streak he's on right now.
He's really he's the guy who's carrying the San Diego Padres. Right now, the Padres look like Manny Machado, 8 other guys you can't really count on offense, but a pitching staff and a bullpen that is top-notch. And there's 3 ways this can go, because what they're doing right now is not sustainable long-term. You cannot expect to win 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 consistently. They had 2 1-0 wins on this road trip and a 2-0 win.
Oh my God.
Out of their 4 victories that they had.
Now, are we saying that for our own well-being, or I mean, yeah, you can't have every game cannot be a dog fight like that, because you're just going to burn through high leverage arms. I mean, it's just I don't know.
So best case scenario, you keep pitching well, but you start hitting, and this team's going to look close to unbeatable. If they hit like they did in April, but pitch like they've pitched, May into June, going to be a really, really good baseball team. On the other hand, if they stop pitching quite as well, but continue to slump at the plate, they're going to have trouble winning any game at all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're kind of holding your breath, waiting for one or the other. Now, the way that baseball typically works is once the offense gets going, the pitching is going to falter.
That's the third option. And most likely you'll go back to a more normal situation where the offense gets going a little bit.
Score 5-6 runs.
But the pitching staff falls back a little bit, and you start playing normally, 7-4 games and 5-3 games. Regular baseball scores that you usually see everywhere else.
Regular games.
Have not been seeing with San Diego Padres lately.
Yeah, no question, man. And again, you want to come in here and be excited about a winning road trip. One that if you're honest with yourself, last week you did not think, Padre fan, even the most optimistic Padre fan out there, did not think we're winning. We're going to come home with a winning road trip. I really didn't. I thought, man, we'd be lucky to scratch out a couple, maybe 3 at the most, as well as the Brewers are playing. And then you see the nature of the games. Oh my God. Like, the guy tweeted me last week, we should have been swept in San Francisco. And I go, yeah, but we also could have swept every one of those games. No question. I mean, they've been so tight. Does it hold any merit for you, Ben, that playing in these kind of games makes a team sharp for down the road when these games really matter, if you get there, that you're battle tested for this? You know how to win a one-run game. I mean, they're pros. They know how, they've done this their whole lives. I get it. I really think it's sports radio fodder. I do. I do. But again, there is something to be said for.
I think it's 100% true that playing in a lot of these games makes you more comfortable,
sure,
acclimated to it. You know,
calmer.
They talked about it this week. That felt like Manny said, felt like playoff baseball. Like every game this week, close, good opponents, well played, well executed. Came down to one or two, small plays in the end to determine a one-run win. The problem is when you play like that all season long, you're going to wear yourself down, especially
you're going to wear your
bullpen down. And you need a couple of games here or there that are easy wins. If you're going to be a really good team, you have to win series, but one of those games you have to win 6-1, where in the end, it's not high leverage innings for every arm in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You have to have a couple of lower leverage innings, a couple of easier wins mixed in. Otherwise, when do you and Mike Schultz tried to, get everybody in there. We saw Sean Reynolds, Yuki, Wandy, David Morgan for a pitch on Saturday. But ultimately, he's had to rely on Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez a little too much over the first 2 months of the season. And as Sarah often tells us, every pitch a reliever throws generally makes them worse over the course of a season. So you're using these guys a lot. I think Adam is on pace to make more appearances than any bullpen reliever in baseball. It's not setting yourself well for September and October if you have to keep up this pace all summer long with your relievers.
Yeah, no question. It's untenable. It can't happen. You don't you don't see a team rip off, call it 93 wins with that level of play. You just don't. It's almost impossible. You're not going to get that length or girth from your starting pitching. And let's say you do.
But it's not the starting pitching that needs to do more.
It's not.
It's the offense that needs to do more.
Starting pitching is doing well, but what I'm saying is, how often are we going to be able to count on Kolek, Vasquez, and Berger to do what they did? Now, they've done it. They've all done it more than once. Is that sustainable as well? Because those are the games where Berger comes in and he doesn't have it. And then you're like, all right, well, I mean, those
actually aren't the worst, because then.
Well, you punt, but you still have to burn through 3 arms.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
At least it's the back end arms, and you can give your higher leverage guys.
Yep.
They just play none of those.
They play
either
none of those.
way. They're not playing any of those games. They're too good to really get blown out very often. But they're not good enough offensively to blow anybody out, which means every single game is high leverage innings in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And ultimately, I think that's going to catch up to you. I mean, they will be battle tested, and they will feel very confident in those close games. The question is, will their arms have anything left at the end of the season?
Jason Adam currently leading Major League Baseball with 33 appearances right now with a 1.64 ERA. He's been really, really good. He's led up 10 runs, 6 of them earned. His whip is 1.18. His average against is 188. He has been fantastic. How long will that last? How do you manage this? Obviously, he needs to be down today against the LA Dodgers. But if Jason Adam comes up to Mike Schilt, in a few hours when he gets to the ballpark and says, Schilty, if it's the 8th inning and they've got Mookie Betts up and we need an out, give me the ball. Of course, Mike Schilt's going to do it. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? You want to win these games. These are important games. I know it's June. And I know, it's a 3-game set against the Dodgers. You can't treat these games like they're World Series games. You have to play the long game. You do. But I can understand, Schilt's desire to go to the guy that gets him the most outs and is the most durable. I totally get it.
Now, the Dodgers are even worse circumstances than the Padres. They've thrown more bullpen innings than any team in baseball.
Yeah, and they're leading their division.
And they have more pitching injuries than any team in baseball, with 14 guys on their injured list.
It's all a scam.
But they're still on the injured list. They can't use any of those guys that are on the IL.
It's all a scam. They'll be back.
I know, I get it. But for this week, I mean, they still have to piecemeal together, pitchers to get through 27 innings against the San Diego Padres, and that's not something that they have a lot of depth on their staff. So it's not only the Padres that are going into this series going, where are we going to find enough innings to finish these 3 games? The Dodgers are thinking the same thing. We'll talk about that series coming up. Obviously, we got to go back through all of our games, including first wrap-up from yesterday's 1-0 win over the Brewers. Get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
I want to leave a little extra time for travel this morning, guys. We've had numerous accidents, and we've got some fog in various parts of the county thrown into the mix. So, yeah, just a good idea to factor that into your commute. Crash on the coastline, southbound 5 before Cannon. It's got the 2 right lanes blocked. Tow truck is helping to clear that. Also, northbound side of the 805 has been having some problems. Crash has cleared before the 163. And this other accident up ahead before Governor. That one's over to the right shoulder. And in the East County, 2 separate accidents, West 8. Right before Greenfield Drive, 4 vehicles in the center divide, then a crash up ahead before 2nd Street. They're trying to move that out of the fast lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Padres Wrap-Up.
brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep. Matsui delivers, and Frelick swings and misses. Strike 3. A very late offer at that splitter, and Matsui comes in, strikes out 2, and leaves them loaded. Pitch to Manny, swung on, hit in the air to deep left field. Collins is back, he's at the wall, way back, gonna go! Long home run to left for Manny Machado. Second of the series, and another big one as the Padres get the first run of the day. It's 1-0. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Monasterio swings and misses. Strike 3. And a big K for Jason Adam to strand 2 more Brewers. 3-2 to Terang. Suarez delivers and a little looper up the middle. Bogarts is back to make the catch on the outfield grass behind second base, and the ball game is over. Suarez comes on to shut the door. Padres with their league-leading 12th shutout win of the year.
Very impressive across the board with their all 26. But specifically the pitching, phenomenal. I couldn't be more pleased with this road trip overall, and just the dedication to competition, the quality of bats against 2 really good clubs that pitched very, very well.
What was that? Little Shilty. Give us another one.
Very impressive.
It was very impressive. Actually, it reminds me, Paulie, we do have 2 tickets to give away for the Padres Royals game coming up later this month on June 20th. Since we just have a new sounder, so why don't we make that the sounder to call in? So next time you hear this from Mike Schilt,
he's gonna murder us.
Oh, yeah.
Murder us, boy.
Call in at 833-288-0973 anytime between now and the end of the program, and you can celebrate Star Wars weekend with Padres June 20th to 22nd. Join the team for some galaxy-sized fun and secure your seats at padres.com/tickets, and we'll give you 2 tickets to the Padres Royals game on June 20th if you're the 5th caller when you hear that Mike Schilt sounder sometime between now and 10 a.m. this morning.
One more time so they can hear it. And I can
Don't call.
Don't call yet.
them.
This is just to hear.
This is just a.
All right, you got to be listening closely for that one. The rest of the program.
Yeah, you never know when Paul's going to work that one in.
You got to start yesterday's analysis with the performance of Ryan Burgert.
Fantastic.
Walked 4, but gave up just 1 hit in 5 1/3 innings. Struck out 4. Made a lot of good pitches.
He did, man.
Got away with some deep flies early, but once he settled in, he was very good, matching a much tougher, nastier pitcher in Freddie Peralta, essentially inning for inning. Now Peralta was also very good against a struggling, scuffling Padres offense. He went 6 innings, gave up just 1 hit, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So really nothing decided with the starters in the game, and it came down to the bullpens again, like it has every single game over the weekend.
As far as Bergert goes, though, so for the stat heads, the numbers guys out there, Benny, over his first 14 1/3 innings pitched, his fastball is averaging 18.8 IVB, which is inverted vertical break. For context, that's the same amount of induced vertical movement that Dylan Cease and Robert Suarez average on their four-seamers. So pretty good company there, good fastball shape. His sweeper that he throws is absolutely filthy. It spins at 2,756 RPMs, Benny. It's got a minus 13.2 horizontal break, and he threw that changeup, which again, threw it in a huge spot in the 5th. He's a young starter, has to trust his stuff. Really, really, really good. But his command is a little bit off. And I think, you hear numbers like that and you see a fastball that has life on it like that. Ruben Niebla goes, I can work with this. This is something I can work with. And that will play at the big league level.
Well, clearly it's got life because you saw the where he was getting the outs. They had that graphic on Roku yesterday, and they were all middle of the plate, essentially. Like the Brewers were getting balls down the middle. They couldn't square up contact on it. It was moving enough that it just missed the sweet spot.
What did I say? Inverted, induced. I'm sorry. Induced vertical break.
Induced
vertical break.
Vertical break.
Yeah.
This is kind of the rise that you get on those fastballs, is what they say. It's kind of an optical illusion, but it really does move. They can track these things now, and Bergert's been really, really good in his first couple of major league starts for the Padres. So no score. You get to the bullpens. Yuki Matsui, you heard it on the wrap-up. Huge escape there with 2 strikeouts to get out of the jam in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yuki's been really good lately.
That was a moment of the game right there. That was outstanding from Yuki, and he's been great. And, again, he's one of those guys, and I'm sure you guys are right there with me. When he comes in, you don't feel super confident, and I don't know why. It's that weird – it's the weird way a baseball fan's mind works. And you look at this team and you're like, I'm just not confident in this team. And it's like, man, we just scratched out all these dubs with having basically 8 guys in the lineup just dying right now, slumping hard. And I think credit needs to go, when it's due. I think these guys deserve a lot of credit. That could have been feasibly an 0-7 road trip. And to come home 4-3 is outstanding, man. Just grinding out everything right now. And yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal for us as a viewer, not ideal for them as players too. They want a blowout or two mixed in there as well. It's just not happening right now. And as far as fixing the offense and things like that, what do you do? What do you do? I have no idea. I don't get paid to make those decisions, but I watch this and I'm like, I'm seeing good hacks. I'm seeing good swings. I'm seeing good approaches for the most part. They're not
striking out 12 times a game. They're just making contact, and it's not doing what they're – except for one guy.
Yeah,
man. And, I've got a couple of people who emailed and DM'd going that Schilt needs to shake up the lineup at this point. And while we talked about that last week, and we both kind of agreed, we think it's time. When there's only one guy hitting, there's nothing you can shake up. I mean,
you can put the third guy in the first spot and the first guy in the third spot, but if they're not hitting,
they're all cold right now. So
but and again, it's not a wrong. No one's saying your theory is dumb or that you're stupid for thinking that, because I think the same thing every day. Like, the definition of insanity, like running the same thing out there every day, hoping the tides will turn. Again, they know a lot more than we do. There's a reason why they make moves that they make. I understand all of that. But, yeah, man, it's not like, well, this guy's really going hot in the 5. Let's get him up and get him more ABs. You just saw the Angels do it with Mike Trout. They were easing him back in. He was hitting in the 5. He was hitting like 400 in the 5. And they're like, well, it's Mike Trout, so let's get him back up to 3 where he belongs. Went to the game the other night. Both so excited to see Mike Trout. Gets K'd up his first 2 times, then hits a laser to right field. Guy caught it, drove in a runner, moved a runner over, I think. But yeah, man, it's the nature of the game. These guys are good. They're good hitters. Jackson Merrill's a good hitter. Fernando Tatis Jr. is a good hitter. Luis Arraez is a good hitter. They're just not hitting good. That's it. That's really what it boils down
slumping.
to. They're just
Jackson
not
Merrill
hitting
looks off. Obviously, Tatis has looked off for a while now.
Yeah, Bogey did hit leadoff on
the day that
Saturday.
they gave Tatis the day
Tatis had
off.
the full day off.
That's a pretty emergency thing to do against a lefty like Quintana and go, we just need to give Tatis an entire day off. We're not even going to pinch hit him. We'll get to that in just a second on Saturday's game. I want to wrap up here with yesterday's game, though. Matsui's 2 strikeouts set him up for the win when Manny homered in the top of the 7th inning, just continued his tear. He's taken such good at-bats, and I loved so that was when he got to face the relievers of Strizny, who you hadn't heard of, but hey, 1 ERA. Guy has been really, really good for the Brewers this season.
Hadn't given up a run in forever.
And what really impressed me about that at-bat, Manny got ahead 3-0, laid off, but was looking to hunt. He knew walking wasn't necessarily a win. Even though it gets the winning race, he knows that there haven't been guys behind him who've doing much. So he wanted to drive the ball somewhere.
That dictates so much about a player's AB. If the whole team is rolling, Manny may take a walk there. You know what I mean? He may, I'm going to make you come in the zone twice.
But he swung 3-0, fouled it off.
Did he call a timeout?
Yeah, called a timeout
at 3-0.
Which is such a hard ass.
It was. I'd never seen that
hard
ass move. Like, yeah, let this guy just walk me. But he called the timeout, swung 3-0, fouled it off. Strike on 3-1 was 3-2, but he was still looking for something
to drive
on 3-2. And I think that was the mindset there. And he found it. Guy missed a little bit inside, and Manny just nuked it through 425 feet up into the upper reaches of American Family Field to give the Padres the 1-0 lead. Now his 10th home run. It was 2 weeks ago that we were saying Manny's on pace for 9 homers this year. He's now on pace for 25 home runs this season. And if you count on how hot he's been, probably you can assume he's going to get to his 30 like he always does by the end of the season.
The captain in the chat says, Merrill's pressing. Where's the hitting coach to help him get right? I'll tell you where he is. He's working his ass off at trying to get these guys right. Nobody wants them to do better other than themselves than Victor Rodriguez. Nobody wants them to start hitting the ball, driving the ball, doing what they did most of last season under Victor Rodriguez. Nobody wants it more than him. But yeah, like he can't take the swings for them. Merrill's expanding the zone a little bit. Jackson Merrill has been I'd have to go look at the numbers, but just by my mind and what I see, he's been the most aggressive free swinger we have right now. And that's not really his game. He's swinging at pitches out of the zone. He's swinging at that pitch up and in. He just can't get to right now. So again, I'm not worried about Jackson. I'm not worried about Toddy. I'm worried, but I'm not like, we have to get rid of these guys and get all new guys. I think they're going to figure it out.
All right, Reynolds and Peralta got through the 7th, Adam in the 8th, Stranding 2, and then Robert Suarez his 21st save in the 9th. We'll talk about the next game of the sequence in our 7 o'clock hour. Plus, don't do this. All coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Fellow here from Gwynn and Chris. Between Tony and I, we have played a
Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers over the weekend, but that did include, of course, Saturday's 4-3 loss, in which the Brewers rallied against the Padres bullpen to pull off the win. That was interesting, Woods, in that Fernando Tatis Jr. was given the day off. It really is a sign of how badly he's been scuffling against kind of a lefty he's had success against in Jose Quintana. And Mike Schilt thought it was important enough that he just get his mind right, that he was not only off for the starting lineup, but Mike Schilt said after the game, because it was close, in the end they tied it, and they never used him as a pinch hitter there in the 9th inning when the game was on the line. And
were we not all waiting for it?
I was, and Schilt said afterwards, no, day off is a day off, and I was committed to not using him at all in that game on Saturday, because I was expecting to see a pinch hitting appearance with tying run at the plate. He runs into one. He's got the best chance of anyone in your lineup of just running into one and hitting a game-tying home run.
So there's a couple of different schools of thought, I think. Obviously, you give a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr., who is scuffling, you give him a day off to clear his head. Then you come to him late. And again, 2 different schools of thought. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit. You send him up in that situation, and he fails. How's that go? That all those 8 innings of rest or whatever you gave him, they're all for naught, because he comes up in a situation to help his team win a ball game and he fails. And how's that work? Now, if he hits a bomb, maybe he gets him going again. What did he go yesterday? What was his line? Over. Yeah. So, I mean, the old magical day off isn't always.
Did have a walk.
Okay. The old magical day off isn't always magical, but I think, that is a managerial decision through and through. I'm giving you a day off. You're taking a day off. A day off doesn't mean maybe you'll pinch hit or pinch run or whatever. I understand it. It hamstrings your team a little bit, especially when a guy is, seemingly healthy and a dynamic player like he is. But that's a manager's call right there for him to say, dude, I'm the boss, and it's not happening. So we're giving you a day. Take the day. We're going to forget you're even here. I'm fine with it. I really am. He needed it. It was needed. Everyone was clamoring for it. And you got it, and then people were mad that he didn't pinch hit. So never going to make everybody happy, Schulte. But, he's not the reason that they lost that game.
Padres pushed across the 1 run against Quintana on an Elias Diaz RBI single in the 4th inning, and Stephen Kolek made that hold up with 5 2/3 shutout innings. Another great starting pitching performance from an unlikely source for the Padres on Saturday. But
do we keep saying an unlikely source, even though he's proven it over like 7 starts that he's maybe a likely source? I don't know. I'm asking.
His one bad start was in many ways his best start when he gave up 6 in the
100%.
first inning and came back and got the win
and went 5 2/3 or whatever
against the Marlins in that game. That was his most impressive, yet the one that hurt his ERA the most by doing that. And outside of that, he's been really, really solid for the Padres. Unfortunately, they could not hold on to it. Jeremiah Estrada gave up an unearned run in the 7th inning. Jose Iglesias, I think, made a bad decision. With the runner on first, grounder up the middle, he cut in front of Xander Bogaerts to make a backhanded play and then tried to make a throw going, away from first base across his body, pulled Jake off the bag. That allowed the runner to get from first to third and then score on the sacrifice fly off Estrada by Bowers. Would not have been able to do so otherwise. So that tied the game. And then Jason Adam was kind of the bit by some bad luck in the 8th inning. Gave up a scorcher from Jackson Churio that was caught. After that, did not give up any hard contact at all. It was a walk, a number to the infield that Manny could do nothing with, a catcher's interference on a 2-strike pitch that was just an emergency, I'm about to strike out swing. Had that guy beat, and Elias Diaz put his glove right in the bat, and so the bases were loaded, gave up the sac fly, and then another bloop. Didn't hit it well single for Collins, and that was the 2 runs that gave him the 3-1 lead. Padres, of course, tied it with the 2-out rally. Luis Arraez in the 9th. But in the first pitch of the bottom of the 9th inning, David Morgan gave up the home run to Caleb Durbin, and the Brewers walked it off with a 4-3 win.
Feels like walks are crushing this team at times, and they crush every team at every level.
In this series, felt like.
Yeah, it does. And I just pulled it up quickly to look where the San Diego Padres team ranks walk wise. I mean, like almost every category, Benny, they're 15. They're right in the middle, about average as far as walks go for the team. But then you get to the good stuff. ERA, they are 6th. So they're 5 teams with a better bullpen ERA wise than the San Diego Padres right now. So yeah, man,
I don't think they're a bad control team necessarily. Sometimes a walk is a result of a guy just not being able to make their pitches. I think sometimes they're so good that, they go deep into counts because guys are not making contact. They're not putting the ball in play. So they're either fouling it off or missing a lot of pitches. And the Brewers took a lot of close pitches all series long. I think they, in some ways, felt like they weren't hitting against these guys. So maybe the walk was their best strategy. And they took a lot of close pitches that were just off the plate. And it turned into a bunch of walks. And in that game in particular, came back to bite the Padres in the end, in the loss. But I wouldn't say the Padres were just wild all series.
No,
that didn't feel like a pitching staff that was wild.
Well, it's like you said though. Like
they gave up 4 runs the entire series, so
they've been able to maneuver around them quite well. I think the starting pitchers have. I know Kolek has, Berger does. I mean, they've really. It hasn't killed them. It's the ones in late innings. The bullpens come in, and it again happens. Suarez walked a guy last night, and ended up getting out of it. Somebody just asked in the chat, where do we rank offensively? Now, that's a different story entirely. As far as home runs go, San Diego Padres are 25th. Only the Rockies, Marlins, White Sox, Pirates, and Royals. The Royals are not hitting home runs at all. They have hit 44. They are the worst team in baseball at hitting home runs. San Diego Padres, not that far behind them with 56. Then you go to average. The San Diego Padres batting average is
pretty high, I would guess. They're first for a long time early in the season. I bet they've dropped down a little bit.
They are 15.
All the way down to 15.
All the way down to 15, 246. Their OBP is 19, 312. Their slug is going to be pretty low, I think. Oh, yeah. They're 23rd in slug. And their OPS, which is on base plus slugging, they are down near 22nd. So they are lower tier in almost every offensive category. They are 10 games over 500 right now. So again, the dream of the Padres fan is if these guys can get clicking offensively and the pitching maintains or even declines a little bit, you like that your chances as that baseball club. And again, think about the holes this team still has. They have not filled yet. Things could look different. They probably will in a month or so.
Now they have faced some good pitching lately. Peralta yesterday is known to be nasty, and he was. I thought Chad Patrick, is that his name? Patrick on Friday.
He was good.
He was really, really good.
Yep.
Padres put a nice rally together against him in the 3rd inning. It had the T Wade bunt single, the Maldi hit and run single. They got him to 3rd, and then Arise brought him home with a 2-out RBI single. But that was it for the offense for the most part. And you gave Randy Vasquez a 1-0 lead to work with. And he danced the tight wire with 4 walks and 2 hits, but got through 4 2/3 shutout innings, stranded a bunch of runners. And then they went to the bullpen, Wandy, Estrada, Morejon, and Suarez. And they got a little insurance for Manny in the 8th inning. But the bullpen, perfect again. Just an outstanding performance to deliver a 2-0 win. Padres now have 12 shutout wins this season, most in Major League Baseball.
It's absolutely insane. Somebody in the chat, Jordan, just made a good point. Yeah, man, you start walking a bunch of Dodgers, then you're in trouble because their lineup, and I know their offense has been scuffling for them, still has them right now, Benny. Their run differential is still plus 74. The Giants are scoring runs now.
You're not wrong, but if you miss over the plate to the Dodgers,
they'll pound you.
You're going to be in even more trouble than if you walk a couple of guys.
Yeah,
I mean, it's there's a calculus there. Like, be careful with the dangerous hitters, and if you occasionally walk them, better than giving up a big bomb to Ohtani or Freeman or Betts. So you got to be careful. They were careful with Churio a couple times, careful with Yelich a couple of times. Didn't want to let those guys, the only guys really in the Brewers lineup, beat them.
Well, except for Chad Durbin, of course, who the one that walked that one off on Saturday. But yeah, no, you're right. I know that the Dodgers have such a deep lineup, and again, St. Louis, pitched them pretty well. It's going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough team. Everybody projected them to win 125 games. I don't think that's going to happen, but it doesn't mean you can. It doesn't mean you can look at them and go, well, they're scuffling too. That's a team that has the ability, Ben, to score 12 runs. I mean, and no problem. Pages is really good. Edman is a really good baseball player. You know what the top three is. Teoscar Hernandez has been scuffling a little bit. Don't want him to get right this week at Petco Park, certainly, but that's Will Smith having a career year. Like, they're so freaking deep up and down the roster. You got to be careful.
I mean, they have lost 5 of their last 8 games, and in all of those 5 losses, they've been held to 3 runs or fewer.
Yep.
So it is possible to keep the Dodgers offense in check. But then in the wins, 7, 6, 6, 18, 8, 9, 7, 7. I mean, when they win, they generally bludgeon you to death offensively.
Yep.
When they lose, all right, they're going to lose 2-1, 5-0, 6-1. You hold them down, you can beat them.
Yeah, they're a little feast or famine too, but we don't even have any feast. Ours is just famine, offensive wise. It's just straight up famine. Middle of the desert, nothing grows here. Nothing's going to grow here. So you guys got to figure this thing out. Be a great time to do it against a pitching staff that is not giving you their best, right? Their absolute best that they have on their roster. This is a good time to do it.
No, I mean, the pitching matchups for this upcoming series, Dustin May.
He's nasty.
Tonight against Nick Pivetta.
I feel like
Pivetta has better numbers than May.
I feel like Dustin May against the Padres is like trending towards Kershaw against the Padres.
He's been really good, I believe, but he hasn't been quite the same post-injury as he was pre-injury.
Right.
This will be his first look at the Padres in a while. They don't even have a starter name for tomorrow's game. Might be another bullpen game for the Dodgers. And then Justin Robleski, who is
2-4 with a 3.36. All right.
Justin Robleski on Wednesday, who's been, probably their 12th, 13th starter to start the year and has been pressed into action because of all the injuries.
Yeah, he was throwing 101 the other day, which was insane.
You're missing Yamamoto. Pretty much everybody else is on the injured list. So
Tanner Scott seems to have figured it out, pitching much, much better. So again, try to get a lead so you don't have to run into Tanner Scott in a big situation. But man, and this is it. Like I'm so excited. I can't believe it's taken till June to get the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres to square off. It's kind of embarrassing. It's June, June 9th. And this is the first time they're seeing each other.
All right, we're going to have Don't Do This coming up next. Had another regrettable incident in an SDFC game. These are becoming a little too commonplace, I think. And we'll talk about what happened at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday coming up.
And I've got Clayton Kershaw getting upset again about a video board.
All right, well, we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I'm going to talk about SDFatLoss.com. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days 2 years ago, and I have been able to keep all of that weight off thanks to the great sustainable strategies developed by SDFatLoss.com. It's one thing to lose the weight. It's an entirely different thing to be able to keep it off. For me, the key was eating real foods to lose the weight. No prepackaged meals, no bars, no shakes, no mixes. And when I lost the weight, then I could bring a couple of foods back, but I had changed the way I was eating. And that was a huge, huge thing for me. You can do the same thing, lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days with no injections, no hormones, no exercise. Just call 858-665-3211 for your free consultation or go online, set it up at SDFatLoss.com. So many tier ones out there have already shared their success stories with me, with the station. We got thousands of pounds lost in San Diego County alone. You can be the next success story. Just do it. Just jump in right now. And, it's still summer, so take advantage of their $200 off with the summer special when you start the program. And in 2 months, you'll be a new you like I was 2 summers ago. Go to SDFatLoss.com. Get that free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Song or two
on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this on a Monday. Brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't
leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do
set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right, I will get us started. Had what was supposedly a friendly match on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium, but once again, things didn't seem all that friendly in the stands where a video was taken of another incident. Now, I know what you can be saying, and you'd be right. It's not everybody, and Paulie's putting it up in our YouTube stream. There's beers flying from the upper deck. A lot of people in blue SDFC jerseys down there, some in yellow. Club America, they were mixed kind of throughout the stadium. There were a couple of sections of Club America fans, but they were all throughout Snapdragon Stadium, and this was the only incident I saw, but it gets pretty gnarly. Punches being thrown back and forth, about 7-8 people involved. Got security, you got to get down there. And while, yes, it is probably just a few bad apples in the bunch, guess what? It's also Dodger Stadium. Not everybody is bad. There's, there's few bad apples, and it turns into melees every time. And if this keeps happening at SDFC games, you're going to have a reputation that Snapdragon Stadium isn't safe, is a rowdy place to be for SDFC games, and I know that's not what the team wants, and I know that's not what San Diego wants. You do not want to be known as a place where I don't really want to bring the kids. I keep seeing these incidents happening at games. Stop it. Let's get this cut out early. We're in the first season. You're setting a bad precedent. Now, this is at least the third time that something has happened and been documented on video during an SDFC game.
Yeah, I don't know. It takes away from the brilliance that has been this inaugural season for SDFC. Obviously, the play on the field was spectacular on Saturday night. And, you don't
want to have to keep putting out press releases every week.
Mikey Varis is like, bro, I just want to coach soccer. Like, I don't have that. Yes, there's our sport has no place for violence. We want to make like every week with this. I know. So like, you don't want to take away from the product on the field. And, when you get out there and you can't handle your booze and you can't handle, the other team's fans or whatever, it's just not a good look.
We
It's not a good
will
look.
talk more about the game and what happened with our special guest going to join us at the bottom of the hour in about 10 minutes. Our friend Craig Elston's going to be back with us.
All right. And I mean, it's rivalry Monday, right? The Dodgers coming to town. Let's get this rivalry stirred up a little bit, even though this has nothing to do with us. I was scrolling Twitter last night and I saw Clayton Kershaw calls Cardinals Bush League. And I go, what? What did they do? And so there was one of these Dodgers podcasts, like Dodgers Ball Sack or something. I can't remember the name of it, but
I think that's what it was.
is that what it was?
actually,
Yeah, Dodgers taint lovers. And he was talking about they get so upset about the most minute things. Check this out.
15 strikeouts away from becoming the 4th left-handed pitcher in the history of the game to have 3,000 strikeouts. Just the 20th pitcher all time. And you would think that an organization that's as historic as the St. Louis Cardinals would recognize greatness, would honor the future first ballot Hall of Famer for all the battles that they have been through, that there would be some respect there. Well, today before the game, the Cardinals played Matt Adams' home run off of Kershaw in the 2014 NLDS, and Kersh called it Bush League.
Yeah, I think it's a little Bush League, but I don't expect anything less from these guys.
Oh, my
It's
God.
no worries.
They should be honoring Kersh, showing a video montage. Thanks for all the memories. Thanks for all the battles. Instead, they were these St. Losers today.
This is why people,
Got 'em.
This is why people hate you, Dodger fans. This is why people hate you. It's not the Cardinals' job to fillet Clayton Kershaw. It's not. It's not their job to, hey, look how great he is. If he had gotten that strikeout number that you wanted that day, I'm sure they would have
He was
tipped their
17
cap.
away.
So again, it's not the Padres' job. You guys all remember crying Kershaw meme gate. I think many people around here that we know were like, we need to go apologize. Like, are you guys you're that sensitive about a something on a scoreboard, about a home run that happened 11 years ago? And we all need to bow to you. Clayton Kershaw is an amazing pitcher. First ballot. You just said it. He's going in the Hall of Fame. Why do you need everybody to pouch this guy for everything he does?
Now,
kidding, dude.
did
They
he
showed a video of
did
the
he
guy
annou-
hitting a home
Did he
run.
announce his retirement, that it's going to be his last start ever in St. Louis? No.
No.
I mean, it's not a retirement tour. There's no rocking chairs being presented to Clayton Kershaw. He's going out and trying to beat your team. You're trying to fire up your fans to try to beat him.
Yeah, they
It's just
showed a video of
regular-
a guy hitting a home run.
It's a
of it.
regular game.
And I'm surprised Kershaw even said anything. Okay, honestly, that's Bush League to show a guy hitting a homer off
And
you?
what do you expect from those guys? I mean, do you have something against the Cardinals organization, Clayton, that you thought all along that they were classless? I don't get that. I really don't.
It's unbelievable, man. I again, hey,
I mean, does
hey,
there need
so,
to be a Mookie video every time, a
Right.
Shohei video every
So,
time he goes
listen.
to every road ballpark? I mean, just
everyone roll out the red carpet because the Dodgers are coming.
Freddie
This is-
Freeman's getting late in his career. Obviously, you should
Getting-
probably honor
getting
him
what?
late in his
Oh,
career.
I thought you said Freddie Freeman's getting laid in his career.
Late
Yeah,
in his
that too.
career.
Guaranteed.
And, should there be a highlight video for him at every place he goes? Of course not.
And it's so absurd. And to be so upset about them showing a video it's amazing to me. It is not the opponent's job to get on their knees for your baseball team. I know you think that it is, but it's not. It's just not. And this is why people hate you guys, because of the attitude like this, that everyone should, whoa. The mighty Dodgers are coming to town. Let's roll out the red carpet. I think it'd be funny as hell if Eric Krupner brought 6 Dodger players big old surfboards tonight. Yeah, we want to do a big presentation for the world champs. They're here. Now, come on out, Mookie, Freddie. Big home run. There's your surfboard. Do it as a bit. These guys would crap their pants. I'm so tired of these people. There's nothing worse. Nothing worse. The worst fan base in sports. It's not close. The LA Dodgers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Finally.
So over it.
I had to find the Padres games on various different television outlets. I had normal on Friday. I listened to Jesse. I could not listen to the Fox. It wasn't Joe Davis.
No, who was it?
Who did they have?
I heard he
had
was very disappointed with that.
AJ
It was AJ Przinsky, and I don't even know who
some
was
guy
doing
I had never heard
Guy was
of.
so bummed when Arise hit that ball down the line. He was like upset.
So I was listening to Jesse. They had like Michael Milken in the booth or something talking. I turned off the audio. I could not do it. I thought the Roku broadcast on Sunday was actually decent. Don Orsillo called the game along with.
It was great.
I think it was the Brewers color commentator and their sideline reporter. So it was a little Brewers kind of heavy on the side. Don was a pro as he always was, but as they do in these national broadcasts, the old mic'd up interview during the game with a player on the field, which I hate those, but I have to give the do this to Jackson Merrill, who may have given the best in-game interview I think I've ever seen in a regular season game. He was both, casual, fun, outgoing, but not, it wasn't fawning. It was just a really solid interview that had some good moments during it. Had one where there was a single where the runner went from first to third and he was yelling 3-3 to Tyler Wade, and turned out that was not the right play. Wade threw it to second, and Jackson admitted afterwards, he goes, I was yelling 3. I'm glad Wadey threw it to second, because if he threw it to third, that would have been on me. It would have been my mistake. So you had some good candid moments, and he's just so easygoing and so likable. Man, he's likable out there, and I really thought it was one of the better in-game interviews I've seen.
Fantastic work, gentlemen.
And for that, he gets to do this, and that's don't and do this for a Monday with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
Wait, Ben, did they ask Jackson Merrill, though, about Clayton Kershaw's rush for 3,000? They didn't?
They did not.
Oh, my God. You're kidding.
It's Bush League.
That's so Bush League. You didn't ask Jackson Merrill about what he thinks about Clayton Kershaw going for 3,000?
No, Don did not ask him that.
Oh, man. That's actually, I'm embarrassed.
We got a pretty big moment when we come back. We will welcome back to our airwaves our former midday show host, Craig Elsten's going to be with us. We'll talk SDFC, some Padres, and more with Craig coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, let me tell you guys about my beloved QC Kinetics. Couldn't do anything without them. Hurt my wrist. No, I didn't. I did not hurt my wrists, actually. It would be one thing if I actually hurt my wrists. I just woke up one day a few years ago, and my wrists were killing me. And I thought, well, this will go away. Tape it up, take a little Advil. And it didn't go away. And I remember my son flipping me a ball, and I hit it with a T-ball bat. I had to drop the bat because it hurt my wrist so bad. And I thought, right then and there, I'm toast. I don't know what's going on. I was very nervous, didn't want to get wrist surgery. And it just so happened that this all lined up with QC Kinetics. And I went in and I got the treatments, and my wrists have been top-notch ever since. We're talking a couple years, zero pain. And I mean zero. Never a relapse, if you will. Just, it's been great ever since. So QC Kinetics, if you woke up this morning and you've got pain in your joints, your knees, your shoulder, your hips, your back, was talking to our buddy yesterday that used to have to go get cortisone shots and all that. Like, this is not that, guys. This does not mask the pain. This gets to the core of the pain, and they go right after the very source of it. Call them today. Find out if you're a good candidate. Consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics today at 619-614-PAIN. 619-614-PAIN. Once again, 619-6614-PAIN.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, our YouTube chat is both excited, maybe a little confused by our next guest, which is fine. We will address the issue at hand with Craig Elsten coming up here. First, this hour of Ben and Woods brought to you by Frozen Ropes San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt at Frozen Ropes. Is your child 6 to 12 years old? Then Baseball Summer League is the perfect fit for your players. Starting June 16th through August 17th, Summer League includes 8 practices and 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. We'll talk Padres, SDFC, and more with, yes, our friend Craig Elsten right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware, 10th and University. Speeds are slowly getting back to normal on that South 5 coastline. Accident cleared out of lanes near Cannon. Now southbound 15 past Deer Springs Road. Collision involving a couple vehicles. One's in the center divide, one over to the right shoulder. Eastbound 52 right before Regents Road. We have reports of some sort of debris in the right lane. Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 franks, courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I want to say right off the bat, major credit here to Craig Elsten for joining us as he waves in from our YouTube stream, because no one here at Odyssey San Diego wanted to see Craig and Annie go.
Correct.
Not a single person. And Craig knows that as well. But the company, corporate, did him dirty, did a lot of people dirty because they had to do some restructuring. And Annie and Craig drew the short stick. We would have had Craig on the very next day if he wanted, but he needed some time, obviously. But we've always been good friends with Craig. He was always a regular contributor to this show before.
For like 5 years.
He was the midday host. So we thought there's absolutely no reason.
Our ass
He
in the
saved
pandemic.
in the pandemic, man. Craig was in the
he
bullpen.
Can't come back on if he wants to. And he reached out a couple of weeks ago, Paul. He said, hey, I'd be absolutely interested in talking Padres and SDFC. So welcome back
Let's
to the
go.
airwaves. At 97.3 The Fan, Craig Elsten. It's good to see you, Craig.
Hey, buddy.
It's good to be here, guys. It is. It's a lot of it's a pleasure to be here. And it is funny how people are like, well, yeah, Odyssey did something, so aren't we supposed to hate each other now?
Right.
Like, this is sports. It's tribal, right? Oh, no, me no likey. No, I mean, come on. We've known each other for decades and in various buildings in various ways. So, 30-second catch up. The Sockers were wanting to hire me back before Odyssey did us dirty. So I had a chance to fall right back into a job I was, familiar with and comfortable with, to work with the Sockers. And I'm one of 2 employees on the Sockers payroll in the summer. So, we're making it through. And the reason I wanted to restart this, not only because I love chatting with you guys, but in addition to Padres Hot Tub, listener supported, on Patreon, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. So many people, so cool to us, especially in March after everything happened. If you want to keep hearing me talk Padres, we do it almost every day. But also, Crossing Streams is back. my television streaming podcast. And we launched 2 weeks ago a brand new San Diego FC podcast with myself, Tony Sanchez, and Alex Pena, who writes the Chromatic FC Substack, called Chromaniacs.
Yeah, buddy.
Which covers all things San Diego FC. So I figured now that I got 3 different podcasts to promote, we've got that classic content for promotion barter that we enjoyed in the market for Lowe's so many years.
Well, it's funny you bring up barter because I had to ask you. I remember our last day together at Mighty 1090. We're all sitting in a room in a big circle, and they're like, "Yeah, we have no money. We're actually like millions of dollars in debt, and we're shutting this thing down." And I'm like, "All right. I mean, we just started, but okay." And I remember walking to my car, and you're like, "Woodsy, look," and he had like this bag full of gear that he swiped. So I'm wondering,
over here.
I'm wondering,
He's still
what did you take from 97.3 The Fan? Am I missing anything
No,
here?
I didn't take anything from 97.3 The Fan. Nothing. In fact,
Did you
I
leave
think
something?
my Bud Black picture that I donated to the
Yes,
studio.
Bud Black is still in here.
there.
Yep.
That Alex Morgan poster I put up
yeah,
right
that
behind
stays.
Ben.
That stays. Yeah.
right there.
And yeah, that stays. I don't mind. And in fact, if you want the Bud Black picture, it's fine. Otherwise, I'll take it back. And I think I left like 2 different games of silly games. In
I saw the
studio.
games.
So,
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm much more of the Eagle Scout. I left the place in a better condition
Then
than
you
I found it.
1090 was going to be liquidated anyway, so I mean, no big deal. No big deal. It's
Okay.
good to talk to you, man.
Craig, let's start with SDFC. Certainly an impressive win. Now, it wasn't Club America's A team or maybe even their B team, but they dominated on Saturday night in that friendly. I mean, Club America barely got a shot off or even got the ball across the midway line for much of that match.
Indeed. And when you see that the Club America players were almost uniformly wearing triple-digit numbers, that means something in Liga MX. It means that you're an academy player. If you're an academy player and you're not a member of the regular team, they will not give you a regular number. You have to wear a triple-digit number. And when you see the guys in the 100s, those are guys probably toward the top of their academy. And when you see the guys in the 200s and the 300s, those are, like 15-year-old kids wearing Club America jerseys. So San Diego FC had a completely rotated lineup as well, but their rotation was way ahead of what Club America brought in what I thought, I'll just say this quite honestly, I thought was a very cynical cash grab situation by Club America. Oh yeah, we'll do this friendly. Now we're not going to send you any of our players, but we'll send you las camisetas. We'll send you the jerseys. You can root for the jerseys running around. And that's pretty much what they did. They gave SDFC a walkover. Within that, Milan Alofsky, the Escondido kid who has been coming off the bench and really providing a lot of spark up top for San Diego FC, I think with Chucky Lozano out short term, he made an emphatic statement that he should get off of the super sub level and get into the starting lineup. He led the USL Championship in goals a couple years ago for Orange County SC and led them to the title. He's a natural born goal scorer. If you guys saw the clip of the second goal he scored on Saturday night,
unreal.
I mean, que golazo. That was absolutely brilliant. So Alofsky, Angel, those kids really showed well for Mikey Varas and SCFC. Halfway point, what can you say? Second in the table, dynamic, attacking, exciting. I think they've really done it all on the field.
They have, man, and it's Ben brought it up and don't do this. It's the not the off the field, but it's the in the stands thing. Look, sports radio, we love the drama. Everybody loves the drama to talk about it. It really takes away from what they've done in their first year. But yeah, man, a couple of incidents at the snap have kind of, I don't know, I don't want to go so far to say has marred the experience, because I don't think it has. Again, couple bad apples will ruin the bunch. But kind of your take on some of the violence going on at Snapdragon.
I'd really like to separate this into 2 buckets, and let's start with whatever happened on Saturday. I guarantee you the same thing is happening at Petco Park tonight.
Oh God, you're right. I know.
Guarantee. Absolute guarantee. When you put 2 passionate fan bases together and right next to each other and culture gets involved, there's going to be 6 people who bump up against each other.
Yep.
And it just inevitably happens. And I'm not trying to diss the Padres. I'm trying to put it in perspective. There will probably be more fights tonight at Petco than there were at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday. But you get one on camera, and then you can attach a pattern going back to LAFC. Okay, well, what happened at LAFC? Some LAFC fans fought with SDFC fans outside the stadium after their team lost. That's a completely separate thing. That's the kind of thing that happens in large crowds occasionally and sucks. And I think LA fans and Club America fans deserve a share of responsibility along with SDFC fans. Take that separate and aside for when the LA Galaxy supporters group, Angel City Brigade, stole a flag from one of the San Diego FC supporters groups, displayed it in their section, basically taunted, and some guys fell for it in a couple of supporters groups that ran up and created an incident 3 Saturdays ago. That's inexcusable. That can never happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. It's led to SDFC making major restrictive changes. And as a supporter, I can tell you, like, you get fenced in now. You get they're caging you in the north end, and you have to leave the way you came. You can't even walk the stadium. So, like, they have been extremely restrictive for a handful of individuals' actions. But I think that was appropriate. And as a member of a supporters group and a member of the union wants nothing to do with that type of behavior whatsoever. So, a couple of dumb fans scrapping, that's going to happen at Petco tonight too. Supporter group action, inexcusable. Don't think it'll ever happen again.
Craig, how much concern, at least short term, with the international break? Now it's ending, I think, on the next day or so. But getting guys back, Chucky's still probably going to be nursing that hamstring injury as they return to MLS play on the road this Saturday against Minnesota. Could that be impactful for SDFC?
Absolutely. And I think you saw it with San Diego Wave FC on Friday night when they dropped one. And Jonas Adeval spoke about, for example, Hanna Lundqvist, their right back, had to fly like 14 hours and get in the day of the match or a day before the match and try and play, and be effective. It's not as much the absence. It's the absence at training. It's the lack of integration because soccer, you heard Vadas speak about it a couple of matches ago. We now play without thinking. We play with the game in our blood. We play with the system in our heart, no longer in our mind. Well, it's a little tougher when you've just gone to a different system with a different coach and different players and different teammates, and you've tried to put that all in your mind, and now you have to clear that out and bring the next thing in your mind. I do think it has an impact. The good news is it has an impact for the other team, too. Minnesota's got some folks called away. I would expect a sloppier match, but that's a big match. Minnesota and Vancouver are 2 teams that SDFC didn't play in the first half of the season, and those are 2 of the best teams in the West. So it's going to be quite a matchup.
Just as an aside, before we talk Padres, because I want to make sure we get to that, how much do you love Mikey Varas? Because I know that I do.
Like literally more than anything else, and I'm not even kidding, more than anything else, even maybe the paycheck. The thing I miss most about doing middays is that I got to talk to Mikey Varas.
He's so
all
good.
The time.
He's just
he's so I'm hoping to get him on our podcast as soon as possible. I really think he's one of the best.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it. When he talked about on our show, I got to smell the locker room to know. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never heard that in my life. And that's something that, I do. We always talk about, Craig, and especially with baseball, 162 games a year. How much does a manager really do? And I think he does a lot. And I think our manager here, we got a good one too, in Mike Schilt. And, the way that his guys have played recently, no, it's not fun to watch. I mean, it's in fact quite excruciating. Gives me a lot of silver hairs to watch. But man, they come out winners more often than not. 10 games above 500, Craig. This exceeds my expectations for where we would be at this point. No question.
Padres started 14-3, and there's just so much value to banking those wins early. And here we are 10 games over 500. So what does that mean? We've muddled along a game under 500 since, and it hasn't mattered because we had that early cushion to work with. The Padres pitching is dynamic. It's exceptional. And I think right now, the guys who are saving this season are Stephen Kolek and Ryan Bergert. And Kolek in particular is looking like a rotation mainstay for years to come, plucked off the Rule 5 AJ Preller masterclass that we had to, suffer through our 13th reliever last year to get a number 3 starter a year later. That's a trade everyone will take. Now the offense, is broken. And I was looking this up, and you can listen to last night's Padres Hot Tub. We really got into it in detail, but let me just say this very basically. In the last 28 days, Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Ariz, and Jackson Merrill have on-base percentages around 250, 260. Okay? Well under 300. And those guys are batting 1, 2, 4 in your lineup. Then you've got an 8-9 of left field, 29th ranked in the league, and catcher basically worst in the league, and especially in the last month for offensive production. So you've got an 8-9 Death Valley going into a 1, 2, 3, 4, where 3 is sizzling hot and 1, 2, and 4 are broken. Of course you're not going to score. The only way the Padres can score 5 runs right now, it's the equivalent of being in Hold'em and flopping a flush. Like everything has to go exactly right.
Yep.
The right, Machado has to get it on, and Sheets and Bogarts and Cronenworth have to combine on a flurry of hits to drive them in the way the lineup's going right now. So personally, I think you can't long-term let this continue. I understand why the Padres haven't made any changes. I get it. But right now, today, I would flip-flop Jake Cronenworth and Fernando Tatis Jr. in the lineup.
Interesting.
Because Cronenworth has a 370 on base percentage, and for 6 weeks, Fernando is hitting under 200 with an on base percentage under 300. He's killing the team where he is right now. Doesn't mean we don't love him, but I would put the guy who's getting on base up top near Machado. You got to link your effective players to one another, or else you never get offense in bunches. And that's what's happening for the Padres right now. It will change. That's the best news. And I heard you guys talking about it at 7. Mike, the best news is we're 10 games over 500. This offense is a shell of what it's supposed to be.
I thought he was going to say something else when he started with his I was like, whoa, all right. You're not on a
Easy,
podcast.
Craig,
Just settle
easy.
down. I agree with you, but they are a shell.
It's a shell.
They are a shell. Yes.
A
of
shell
what it's
show.
supposed
It's
to be.
shell show.
So I think that it's going to grow back to what it's supposed to be. And of course, the pitching's going to regress as the summer goes along and the guys get tired. But I think the offense will pick up the slack.
Do you think eventually you need these guys to break out? Is the philosophy, the contact philosophy of Victor Rodriguez, is that an issue, or do you need to lean even more into it? I don't know the answer to that. Do you need to be more aggressive, take more pitches, swing at more pitches? I'm not sure where they're kind of failing here, other than not, squaring up enough balls.
Do you guys think that they're not aggressive? Because I do think that they're aggressive. I think they are an aggressive team.
Too aggressive.
Yeah,
I think if you want to see a hidden killer in this team's offense, and let's hope it never happens again, but count the number of times that Manny Machado comes up in the first inning with 2 outs, nobody on, and 6 pitches.
Yeah, all the time.
Starting
I said it last week. I mean, you got our guys out there grinding 21, 22, 23 pitch top of the first. Then we come up, and it's like, oh, my God, 6 pitches, and here comes Manny. It's exactly right. I feel like it happens every single game, Craig.
Well, I'll just say this in a supportive way. I think the Padres could look back at the key rallies that they have had over the course of this 10-6 run and see how many of them were fueled by a critical walk. And by taking the ball to their outside when need be. And right now, Fernando, Luis especially, and Jackson are not taking balls. They're swinging all the time. And they just have I think that when you talk about the philosophy, Ben, in the very short version, because I know we're up against the head here, they've gone too far in their principles. It's like that guy who says, hey, I'm a good time. And then you go, buddy, you've been out drunk 5 nights in a row. Like, yeah, you're a good time, but you've maybe gone a little bit too far.
You're over the line. Yeah, you've crossed the line, dude. Yes, everybody loves you,
can
but
dial it back a little.
Yeah, dial it
you
back.
can dial it back a little, and I'd like to dial back a little the swing at everything.
Craig, we're out of time. It was
Thank
so
you,
great
brother.
to have you back on. We'll do this again next Monday. Yes, we're good.
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
Padres
Next
Hot
Monday.
Tub, SDFC,
Padres Hot
Crossing
Tub
Streams.
For maniacs and crossings.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you, buddy.
Craig. We're out of time. Before we get to the top of the hour, though, we got a giveaway in the last 20 seconds here. You can call now, 833-288-0973. Third caller is going to win 2 tickets to George Lopez at the San Diego Civic Theater on June 21st. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Courtesy of Outback presents 833-288-0973. Much more to come with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
We are halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Pleasure to be here with all of you on a beautiful, well, it's gray. It's June gloom. It's happening. It's fine. Get through it. A little bit of suffering just to get to the other side of the rainbow, which is beautiful here, like 10 months a year. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Don't mind the June gloom a little bit. It keeps it from getting too hot too early.
Keeps us honest.
Well, I just feel like if it was sunny starting in May and June, then by the time we got to August and
Be
September,
roasting.
it would be insufferably hot. But
that's
this
fair.
keeps it cool for a couple of months before we get to the really warmer summertime.
Very true.
Yeah.
Weather talk on Ben and Woods
Yeah.
here on a Monday morning. I'm not saying anything, so you guys know why. So I'll just sit here.
Can you not control yourself?
I've been gagged, apparently, so I'll just sit here. I'm just here for moral support.
Get a little too spicy.
Apparently.
Hand slapped?
Yeah, I got the old hand slapped on a Monday. It's a good way to start the week. Just one of those, like, you know.
You can be colorful in your language at times.
Sure.
We've discussed this over the last 7 years.
We have. I mean,
sometimes you push the envelope a
Yeah,
little
if you
bit
wanna-
for morning radio.
No, I don't actually.
Just push it a little bit.
I
There's
push it a
nothing-
little bit.
There's nothing wrong with pushing the envelope per se.
Apparently there is.
It's how much you do it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty good about not doing it definitely as much as I want to. So
I'll stand up for you on this one.
thank you.
I'm
Appreciate you. You're as
prudish as anyone
Correct.
you're going to hear.
Thank
And
you.
I don't feel like you're overly colorful.
Me neither.
With your language.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On the air.
occasionally. Yeah,
On the
it's
air,
a
yeah,
little,
off the
it's
air.
a little
Way
spicy.
colorful. Way.
A little spicy occasionally. on the air,
Sometimes.
but
Say taint a lot.
you do.
You in trouble for that?
I
Words
don't
are
know.
weird though.
They are weird. It's very weird. It's hard to know what the line is because there's an actual line, and I have only crossed that line one time, and it was purely by accident. Remember that?
I don't
When
think I
I-
was here. I think I was actually gone that day.
Oh, were you gone?
Yeah.
I dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah.
First time it's ever happened to me. And it was just in casual conversations like, man, you got to be effing. And I go, whoa. And I knew it right when I said it.
I remember I was gone because we played it back when I
Yeah.
got back, and I was like, it was so
it was
weird.
so casual. It wasn't like, you stupid F. It was just kind of just slipped out.
I was amazed because when we did our off the air podcast, you immediately slipped right into just some casual, colorful language that wouldn't have been okay over the air, but it is fine, obviously.
Yeah,
for
it's a podcast.
And you weren't, I didn't think you were ridiculous about it. You just talk like you normally do in real life.
That's how I talk.
But you're able to control it like 99.99% of the time
Yep.
on the air, but you did mess up that one time.
Correct. That one time. So again, there's an actual line that you can't cross per the Federal Communications Commission. And we know what those are. We never cross them. Like, doesn't
7
happen.
deadly lines.
7 deadly words. Can't say them. Yeah, the lines. So, but again, it's a little, I get a little spicy, especially when I'm talking about the Dodgers. It's going to happen. But I don't know. I watched some clip the other day of Boomer Esiason dropping a GD on the air. I was like, whoa, it like took me back. He's on WFAN and I'm like, you drop that on the air, you're gonna get in trouble.
That always confused me.
Even though it's not,
that word
illegal per se.
That word always confused me with censorship on television or radio. Because both words separately are fine.
Correct.
God. And then the other word being the D word.
Yeah. Like the Hoover Dam.
The Hoover Dam. If you
Or
put them
damn
together, though, it's not good. Can't play it. And when they censor it, it would be like bleep damn.
Yes.
And I go, I feel like they're censoring the wrong word.
Sure. No, it's an interesting line to cross. You can say things like once it kind of got relaxed a little bit, maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s. And you knew right then that, it's been relaxed because like Howard is saying the word, he's saying a-hole, but he's saying like, you're an a-hole, not right? Like you can't do that. you can't talk about it like that. You can't do like potty language and things like that. So anyway, Adam has a very Puritan sense of what should come out over these airwaves. I don't. So there is the classic struggle between employee and manager. So we bang heads. And I defended myself this morning. I used a very scientific word, and it's what happens. So
Jordan in the chat says, if it's in the Bible, it's fine. So I can say smote all I want.
Smote. You can say frankincense, myrrh. Yeah. So again, listen, we've had this. Adam and I have banged heads on this many, many times, and we probably will again. I'm not in here trying to be edgy. I'm just talking like I talk, and I thought I was actually being scientific for once. So
I mean, there were definitely other ways you could have said it.
Sure. I was just
that would have been worse.
I was just yes, and then there's some that could have been better, but I was just trying to verbalize a point there. Anyway, happy National Sex Day.
If you'd like to register a complaint about Woods' language, Adam will take them. Adam.klug, Klug, at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Go ahead and send your complaints in to Adam.
To him.
And we will see how the tier ones really think about you, Woods.
Sure, that's fine.
Of course, we're getting ready for Padres Dodgers, first of 3 tonight.
Woo!
And I'm actually glad that the Dodgers are finally coming to town. First matchups all season long. It's a long time to wait for the first game against the Dodgers this season.
You're glad that it's taken this long?
Well,
I would like to get a couple out of the way early, man.
No, I'm not glad.
In that 14-3 stretch.
I'm glad that we're finally getting to it. I feel like it's been too long. I'm ready for it. And you'd say this is a tough stretch to finally meet the Dodgers. You're in the middle of 13 straight and 26 games in 27 days. Wouldn't it be nice to hit the Dodgers with an off day, maybe before or after the series, where you do have one after the series, but this is the last.
They got one on Thursday.
11, this is 11, 12, and 13.
Sure.
13 in a row.
But I like the off day Thursday because you can empty it a little bit, and depending on how the first two games go.
And I also would say that when you're at the end of this stretch, this is when teams have a tendency to let down. Usually, when they play a lot of games in a row,
you get smited,
and you could be playing. Yeah, you could be playing the Marlins and you go, man, this has been a long stretch, and you just don't play your best baseball. I fully expect the Padres, though, to have no problem getting up for these games against the Dodgers in front of their own fans at Petco Park. If you're going to play 13 in a row, have the last 3 be like, there's no chance we're not going to be locked in for these games. We may be tired, but you're not going to see a mentally out of it team against the Dodgers. They know they have to be sharp. They will come to play. They have that off day on Thursday.
So will the Dodgers
to look forward to. I'd imagine both teams are going to try to bring, they're the best that they can, at least for a regular season 3-game series. Now, I can tell you, with the Padres just a game behind the Dodgers, this series, of course, is an early battle for first place.
Correct.
And I can tell you what team I think will be in first place at the end of this series. I think it's pretty clear.
The Giants.
The Giants will be in first place at the end of this series.
It's such a good bet.
As the Padres beat up on each other and the Giants, of course, sweep the Rockies the next 3 days, they will pass both teams. And at the end, on Thursday, we're sitting on the off day, and the Padres and Dodgers will both be probably looking a game up at the Dodgers at the end of the series.
Which is hysterical. We're beating the crap out of each other. Fans are fighting, and the Giants are like, woohoo. We're having a ball. Where are they playing? Colorado or San Francisco? Do you know?
Oh, I forget
off the top of your head
which one it's in, but let's see. It hasn't really mattered where you're playing the Rockies. They've been pretty bad no matter what.
They have.
Colorado.
It is in Colorado.
It's in Colorado. Okay, so weird things can happen, certainly, but plenty of weird stuff happens in Oracle as well. That is a bit of a house of horrors as well. You can hit a ball in the nose, bat flip it even, thinking you got it, and it dies at the track.
And the Giants, of course, haven't lost since the Padres took the first 2. They won 5 in a row by a combined total of 5 runs. Every single game they have won against the Padres and then sweeping the Braves over the weekend was by 1 run. They are living just as much by the skin of their teeth as the Padres have been living by the skin of their teeth lately. But with the Rockies coming up, they are definitely in the most advantageous position going into this week.
Yeah, no question. And look, they're big leaguers. They've just played 5 really tough games, scratching it out. Then you get to Colorado, though, Ben, and if their starters do get in trouble earlier, which it can happen in Colorado. We've all seen it happen. Those can be a bit of horrific series. Even if you end up sweeping it, it takes a lot to get through it. As you love to mention, the altitude certainly has something to do with it. And, the big, vast outfield, like you just never know.
It's a win for the Padres and the Dodgers if the Rockies can take even one.
If they take one game. Yeah, no question about it. Chris in the chat said, you guys need to talk about the Padres plane issues. All I saw was...
I have not seen anything about plane issues.
I saw Ruben Niebla.
Flat tire.
He had a flat tire on the plane after the game. And so they literally got off the plane, went out onto the tarmac, and were playing bottle cap baseball. A bunch of guys were out there playing bottle cap baseball, which I thought was really cool. But I hadn't heard anything other than that. Just a flat tire.
Calling the pit crew for a quick tire change on an airplane. You probably need a really big jack, though, to get those airplanes off the ground.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
I did not see that. So they got back a little bit late.
Stewardess Vaughn.
Yeah.
Them bags.
He's like, I don't even think there's a pilot. There aren't any stewardesses. I don't even know if there's a pilot. That's brilliant. What were you asking me? You just asked me something. They got back late.
Yeah. No, did they I didn't
got
realize
back later
late.
than they normally would have.
I mean, it was a very early game in Milwaukee. It was 12 o'clock Milwaukee time, 10 a.m., of course, here in San Diego. So can't imagine, even with the delay, that they were, with the time change coming in their favor, that they were probably in bed at a very reasonable hour last night and will be rested and ready to go for the Dodgers.
Three of us did get a text message from somebody that was on that plane last night, probably as they were flying back. So I think if there were any major plane issues, he would have probably let us know.
We did?
Yeah, our good friend Mud shared some
about this. Oh my God.
Instagram videos.
Oh my God. Do you have it?
I'm gonna need a second.
I mean, you have to walk you guys through this. It's a little bit convoluted, but stay with me. So I'm laying in bed last night, and a couple times a year, Mud Grant will text me or Paulie or Ben or the show, and he hit us all last night. And he said, what did he say? I didn't know Woodsy had a twin. And I said, what is this? He goes, I didn't know Woodsy was so talented. And it was a guy on Instagram by the name of Daniel Middell, Middel. And I go, oh boy, it's Mud. What is he doing? So I click on play on this guy's Instagram, and he's doing all kinds of weird dances. He's in a dress, and he's doing a hula hoop. And first of all, my first thought was, why is Mud looking at this? Like, what got this into your Instagram algorithm?
That's what I said.
Then I looked closer, and I went, oh, it's my twin. And then I showed my wife, who is always kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't really look. She goes, oh my God. And I go, who is this guy? And why is he my identical twin? Identical, right?
He was pretty close. I was looking.
Now he has some tattoos on his.
There's a big Chris Farley vibe kind of going with his dancing. Like,
yes, he's just dancing around doing hula
over
hoop.
the top.
I don't know what his shtick is.
I think that is. He just dances around in a hula hoop and a tutu.
It looks like he's having a lot of fun.
He does.
Enjoying himself, but there is an uncanny resemblance to one Stephen Woods.
So where I started pausing it and going, look, and Hannah's like, oh my God, stop. Because it looks honestly just like me.
I'm putting it up here.
Yeah, Paulie's going to put it in the chat for you on the radio. Sorry, you're going to have to go look up Daniel Middell on Instagram.
Good call on Mud to notice that, though, because you might not look closely at the face. You're just distracted by the dancing and the hula hooping. But yeah, if you look at the face, and Paulie's playing it right now on our YouTube feed.
Oh my God. I mean, it's very. Now I'll say this. Can I say this and not sound like an egomaniac when I say it? I have a better body than he does right now. I have been working out,
but he's got moves.
He has ridiculous moves. He got longer hair than me. He has a man bun, but the guy's face is my identical face. It's like looking at a long lost twin brother. Everyone in the chat's like, oh my God, it's dead on. Oh my God, it's dead on.
Well, here, I even did like the side by side.
Did you?
So there's one. If you're watching, that's the original. That is a screen grab. That is what the guy looks like. And then
it's crazy.
And then when you superimpose Woodsy's face on it, this is what it looks like. And it's not that much different.
Son of a. I refuse to believe this is another person until we see you both at the same time in a room together.
He also has the very world's smallest pictures on his wall. Which
He really does. Tiny pictures.
Like normally you
and a giant cat,
like an 8x11, or you want something, and he has just maybe like a normal Polaroid photograph size 2 pictures hanging on his wall, and that's it. They're very tiny.
Oh,
bro, it was so weird. I clicked on every video he had. I was like, oh no, it is my twin.
He's got a cat tower.
He's got a cat
he's got
tower.
4 cats like you do, because he's got a big cat tower.
Well, so now I know what I'm dressing up like for Halloween. No one's gonna get it. I'll be walking around people like, arrest this guy right now. Arrest this dude. It is. Look at him. It is wild.
And he's got tons of these videos. They're all the same exact setup, just a different costume.
Dude, it's like looking at my twin brother. It is just insane how identical it is. He's got a little bigger belly than I do, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, look, I have to do this now. This is going to have to be like my thing. And
he's also hairless.
I'm also hairless.
Well, that's true.
I'm
not
hairless.
on your face, though.
Right. But I can
on
be.
his face.
I can be hairless on my face. He's got tattoos. If you're like, oh,
that's
Woodsy,
close to 100,000 followers on Instagram.
You're like, that's
popular.
That's That's Woods from Ben and Woods, and they say, oh, he doesn't have a tattoo on his calf. He doesn't have the tats on his top of his arms. But holy cow. Yeah, what's his name again? Daniel Medill. He's fantastic.
Pretty good with the hula.
Yeah, he's very good. Thank you, Mudley, for that.
Does Daniel have the musical trivia knowledge necessary to take on Woods, though?
It'd be fun to get him on the show and see.
What's true?
Maybe if I could
holiday
smoke
extravaganza, Paulie. See if you can fly in Daniel.
Oh, he's got an Amazon wish list. I should buy him something and say, from your long lost twin. All right,
we
I'll check
will
him out.
play a little Take on Woods when we come back. We need a contestant. If you want to call in now, 833-288-0973. We got a grand prize, Vegas vacation, and spa getaway up for grabs with our musical trivia challenge coming up next with Bennett Woods after a quick timeout here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Before that, though, we want to talk again about 7 Mile Casino. It is so easy to get to. You can drive many, many miles out into the East County to find some of the other card rooms and casinos. You got to find parking in one of the big garages and then walk through probably the back of a slot machine-filled, smoke-filled casino to finally get to the card room. Why waste all that time when you can go to San Diego's best card room right off the 5 freeway in Chula Vista, just 7 minutes from downtown?
Yeah, buddy, there's a lot to love about 7 Mile Casino. If you're a high-limit player, they will take your action. They welcome the high-limit players there. It's that kind of place. It's also a very clean place. It's bright. It's airy. It's cool. Got everything you're looking for. Great food. Get the Kung Pao chicken. You will not be disappointed. Get yourself an ice cold beer. Sit out on the patio and overlook the bay in a smoke-free environment. It's beautiful.
You mentioned the Kung Pao chicken. It's on the 24/7 players menu. It's one of the few places in San Diego where you can get a real meal any time of the day. If you're coming off a night shift, show up early in the morning. They are open. They are ready to entertain, give you a good time at 7 Mile Casino. Check it out today. It's just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Yeah, I just picked the guy that always, kicks my ass.
Well,
How
you
about
are we're not on a losing streak per se.
I'm on a
but I think we've
tying
had
streak.
a few qualifiers in a row for our grand prize drawing. This hour of Men and Woods brought to you by Staples. And we've got Dennis Lynn, our Linsider, coming up in just a few minutes. So let's get right to it. It is time to play this morning's game of Take On Woods. Take On Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm. Security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And Guy got in first today, so I can't be accused of playing favorites as Guy joins us for a June game of Take On Woods. Good morning, Guy.
Good morning. So you're saying I'm one of your favorites then?
I'm not. I'm just not being accused of playing favorites today. I always like when we have when we have a good competition. I don't necessarily love it when Woods wins 5-0, and you usually give him a pretty good run for his money. If you do, if you can beat or tie him, you're qualified for our grand prize drawing this month. It's a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, 2 spa passes and food and beverage credits at any of their 5 pools. Check out the Awana Spa. It is one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas, the ultimate in relaxation and wellness. You can book your stay now at rwlasvegas.com. All right, what categories do we have today? We got the mystery category. Guy, you're always pretty good at those. The 2-second song will be the word that appears in all the other answers. We have a so-so category, 5 song titles that use the word so. And our new category today is a cross to bear, 5 song titles that include the word cross, song titles and artists. So mystery category, a so-so category, or a cross to bear, Guy?
Let's try so-so, please.
The so-so category. All right. Today we have 5 song titles that all include that very useful 2-letter adverb, so, S-O. 5 questions, 60 seconds. You can pass. If you don't know one, we'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is our 2-second song. Paulie will play you the music. You need to give me that song title with the word so and the artist to score the point. All right, Guy, are you ready to play?
Yes, I am.
All right, Paulie, give you a chance to cue it up a little bit.
Ready.
All right, he is ready to go. Let's go. 60 seconds on the clock. It is a so-so category. Guy, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Hurts So Good, John Mellencamp.
Correct. Warren Beatty probably thinks which 1972 Carly Simon song is about him, if the rumors are true.
You're So Vain.
Correct. A breakup with motocross rider Carrie Hart inspired Pink to write which song in which she reaffirms that she's still a rock star.
Pass.
The Pointer Sisters Just Can't Hide It, in which the hit for the group from 1982.
So Excited.
Correct. Whitney Houston continued her string of number one hits in 1987 with which song that included the line, "Ain't It Shocking What Love Can Do"?
Pass.
A breakup with motocross rider Carrie Hart inspired Pink to write which song in which you
So What?
So What? Whitney Houston continued her string of number one hits in 1987 with which song that included the line, "Ain't It Shocking?" Well, we got 4. You got back and got So What? I'm Still a Rock Star. Got Hurt So Good by John Cougar Mellencamp. You're So Vain. I'm So Excited. So Emotional by Whitney Houston was the one you missed. I don't know if 4 is good enough. It might be. Hang on the line, Guy. Woods will get the same 5 questions without the benefit of the category. Always much tougher for Woodsy. Guy's score is locked in. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Guy.
Hurts So Good, John Cougar Mellencamp.
Correct. Warren Beatty probably thinks which 1970...
You're So Vain.
Wow. A breakup with motocross rider Carrie Hart inspired Pink to write which song in which she reaffirms that she's still a rock star?
I know the song. What is the name of the song? Pass.
The Pointer Sisters Just Can't Hide It, in which hit for the group.
I'm so excited.
Correct. Whitney Houston continued her string of number one hits in 1987 with which song that included the line, "Ain't It Shocking What Love Can Do"?
Freaking category.
I thought you had it.
Hurt So Good, You're So Vain, I'm So Excited.
I don't know.
A breakup with motocross rider Carrie Hart inspired Pink to write which song in which she reaffirms that she's still a rock star?
I have no idea. I'm out.
Oh, you're out.
3. 3 is the best I can do.
3 isn't good enough. 4-3. Guy takes
This is going to make me insane.
the so-so category. Hurts So Good. You're So
so-
Vain.
hold on.
So What? I'm Still a Rock Star. That's
I'm
Pink.
still a rock star.
And So Emotional. I get so emotional, baby. Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Guy, congratulations. A win and qualifying
job,
for the
Guy.
grand prize drawing as we remain on a hot streak for the listeners, the tier ones in Take on Woods. All right.
It's a tough way to start a Monday.
Let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. Dennis Lynn, our Lynn Sider from The Athletic, will join us to break down the weekend in Milwaukee. Get you ready for the Padres Dodgers series that is coming up next year with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I am so excited to tell you about Loan Pronto.
You just can't hide it?
I just can't hide it. It hurts so bad when you are maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt. You could pay it all off in days, get back to zero. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is incredible. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Your home's equity is yours. Use it. Get cash out to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now. Get a free instant appraisal for your home. See how much cash you can get out today. They are A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Service off the charts. Call now. Get the conversation going at 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
Getting set to talk Padres baseball with our Linsider, Dennis Lin. I did see a concerning video this morning of Bradley Rodriguez getting pulled off the mound after suffering what looked like an arm injury for the El Paso Chihuahuas yesterday. Cross your fingers that it's nothing serious, but he was a nice depth piece that the Padres had. And if he misses, they have other options as well, which is good. The bullpen depth is undoubtedly a strength for the Padres. But yeah, it was so fun to just get a little glimpse of him on the big leagues, but don't know how long it'll be before we see him again after seeing that video yesterday. We'll talk with Dennis Lin coming up here. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Overwhelmed by processed foods, U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative. 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more, shipped free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. All right, Dennis Lin from The Athletic set to join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a few things to mention this time around. Crash and clearing stage northbound 805 before Governor. It's over to the right shoulder. Crash on northbound 15 past Miramar Road. That's over to the right shoulder. And got a stalled car on westbound 8 just past Los Coaches. This is in the center divide. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Happy Monday, Padres fans. It's time to discuss the weekend that was for the Padres with our Ben and Woods Linsider, Dennis Lin from The Athletic. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks, it gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
Hard to believe that the last time the Padres and Dodgers met for real, 8 months ago.
Crazy.
In the division series. It was Game 5. Was there. Disappointing 2-0 loss. They could not score against Yoshinobu Yamamoto and the Dodgers bullpen, and wasted a great start by Yu Darvish. Lots have changed since then, but Padres and Dodgers continue to battle in the standings in the NL West. And joining us right now is our Linsider, Dennis Lin from The Athletic. Dennis, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. Well, Ben said a lot's changed. Our offense looks the same, essentially, as it did that little stretch there, D. Lynn. Hey, man, credit to the guys, though, like being able to win these games. They've been – I mean, there's no nails left on my nails. I mean, I've chewed my nails to the roots at this point because the last week or so, these games have been, I mean, they've been great baseball games by all accounts, but you won more than you lost. So ultimately that's a good thing, but there's an issue certainly with the San Diego Padres offense.
Yeah, it's just more of the same over the past month, right? I think if you're Ruben Niebla, you're probably chewing your nails every night too, wondering how you're going to navigate these games and get your bullpen through, because obviously those guys, especially the high leverage guys, are working really hard recently, and at some point that's going to catch up to you. I think it's caught up to Jason Adam a little bit, although he, came in and did his job last night. But yeah, it's been a tough stretch for the offense, no doubt. I think at some point, if Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to get hot again, it would probably be against the Dodgers, considering what he did against them last season in the playoffs and really throughout his career. But yeah, at some point you really need one of these guys to heat up and join Manny Machado in carrying this offense.
And he does have a flair for the dramatic. We know that. We know that he's played well against the Dodgers. But with Tatis, getting him to, again, I don't want to say focus or anything like that. That's not the right word. But getting him to, produce at a more consistent level has been, a bit of a challenge at times. Dennis, what do you kind of attribute that to? Is he just a temperamental guy? And that, I mean, I know he is. We've seen it a little bit over the years, but this year the team headed in the right direction after last year. Like, this is kind of the year you thought, okay, they talked about the other day on the broadcast, the maturing process, as it were, for certain players. And, I think he was all smiles after the win yesterday. So it's not like he's moping around all the time, but what do you kind of attribute what he's been going through to?
I do wonder about the hit by pitch.
Yeah.
A little over a month ago now. I know he says he doesn't think it's affected him since then, but I mean, we all saw it. His forearm swelled up like real huge right after that. Big hematoma right there. And yeah, I mean, for a sport like baseball, it's so finely calibrated. You do wonder if something like that will kind of knock him off kilter a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think he's gotten his own head quite a bit over the past month and kind of let this. It's probably the worst slump of his career spiral on him. But as you said, sometimes he really gets up for these big matchups, big moments, big opponents. So maybe that's all he needs to kind of get that spark that has been missing for weeks to finally get him going. But yeah, I think there is a temperamental side of him that we clearly see on display pretty much every game, at least this season. So I think he's searching for it, and his timing's off at the plate, and maybe his mechanics are off a little bit because of that hit by pitch, indirectly or directly. Hard to say, but yeah, I mean, I think when your top few guys in the lineup like him and Luis Ariz and Jackson Merrill are all slumping at the same time, it just kind of exacerbates each individual slump. So that's why we're focusing on it so much. I mean, if those other two guys were also hitting, it wouldn't be as big of an issue. If Xander Bogaerts were heading for a little more pop than they have seen over the past year, I think it wouldn't be as much of an issue. But right now, it's just everything's magnified.
I was just about to ask you about Jackson Merrill, because he's obviously also in the worst slump of his career. And at the beginning of the year, Dennis, I said I thought I had already seen Jackson adjust last year when other pitchers, started adjusting to him, and he was so good at it so quickly as a rookie. I thought, I don't think he's going to go through the sophomore slump. Did I get it wrong? What are we seeing here from Jackson Merrill, and why has he been unable to pull out of this slump the way he really did every single time he scuffled for a few days in his rookie season?
Very quickly.
But this one's lingered now here for a few weeks.
Well, I think you're seeing pitchers give him even less to hit. Not that they were just lobbing it up there last year to him, because clearly it's shown he was a very dangerous hitter right away in the majors, even at the age of 21. But yeah, now that he's 22 and he's still very young, he's getting less to hit, and he's still probably chasing a little more outside the strike zone than even last year. So yeah, it's just a young guy who's eager to hit. I mean, he's talked about the maybe the challenge or balance of trying to walk a little bit more, show a little more play discipline going into this year. And right now, we're not seeing that. We're still seeing him, be a little jumpy at the plate. But yeah, I think his timing's off as well. As you said, Ben, he has probably the first real slump of his career, and we saw him pull out of it really quickly last year. Whenever he had those mini slumps, but right now it's just pitchers have adjusted to him, and he's in the process of adjusting back. But yeah, he's a guy I don't really worry about. I know. Like you, yeah, I didn't think he was going to have much of a sophomore slump coming into this year, and maybe he still won't end up having much of a sophomore slump when it's all said and done. But I just think, he's wired the right way, and, he's shown in the past, even if it's not a very long pass, that he can adjust right back to the league when they adjust to him. So I think, yeah, he's just gone through it right now as a 22-year-old in the majors, which is totally normal.
Absolutely. Talking to Dennis Lynn from The Athletic here on Ben and Woods, as we do every Monday. So a lot of good storylines, Dennis, right? I mean, we were talking about waiting all the way to June to play the Dodgers, and Ben was like, I kind of like it. And I'm like, I kind of hate it. I wish we would have gotten a couple out of the way early, but this is where we're at. We got the Dodgers today. It should be a good one, right? You got the storylines. Both teams are, well, let's be honest, right now kind of having, a mid-off. I mean, the Padres are they've been playing pretty well. The Dodgers have won some games in similar fashion. They can also club you to death when they get going. So your favorite storylines to watch these next 3 days? Manny and Dave Roberts, will they have some words to say after the hit piece last year? Like, there's a lot to be excited about.
Well, number one, I'm curious to see if the Padres throw up anything Clayton Kershaw related on their scoreboard. I don't know if you guys saw.
We did. We talked about it. He got very upset. He gets very upset by scoreboard things. And if everybody isn't giving him the love that he so deserves, he gets very, very upset by it.
Yeah, he gets the ass, as they say in baseball.
Exactly.
I don't know if I can use that term on here, but I think
you can. You can't use other terms, as I found out earlier, but ass is fine.
Yeah, that's just who he is, I guess. I guess the Padres, after what happened a couple years ago with the crying Kershaw meme, they'll probably stay away from that. Plus, he's not even pitching in this series,
right.
But I'm sure he'll come up against them at some point. But yeah, I'm just looking for some petty moments. That's always fun in this rivalry, and I think it is the number one rivalry in baseball.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think the whole Manny, Dave Roberts thing is probably a little overblown. Obviously, it worked out to the Dodgers' benefit, you could say, back in October. I guess if Dave is trying to light a fire under his team or something, who knows? But yeah, it's going to be an interesting series, right? Because like you said, yeah, it is kind of a mid-off right now. I don't think either of these teams is anywhere near 100%. I think the Dodgers can kind of rely on, some of their internal depth coming back to, buoy them at some point this summer. The Padres, yeah, I'm still really interested to see how they get through, pitching wise this series. Guys like Ryan Berger, Randy Vasquez, Stephen Kolek have really stepped up of late. But yeah, you just don't know about Michael King and Yu Darvish and what they're going to provide, the rest of this month, or if they come back, say next month, what they're going to provide after that. So I'm interested to see how the Padres pitchers get through the series. And, they have been, locking it down of late, but they're not facing the best offenses. And like you said, the Dodgers can really club teams to death. So if they can get through this series, I think they'll feel really good. And if they don't, then it's kind of like, oh no, like when is, Michael King, when is Yu Darvish going to debut? When are we going to get, some of these guys healthy again? Because if not, then you're going to be looking at not only trading for a left fielder, then you're also going to be trying to trade for some starting pitching, most likely.
Talking to Dennis Lynn, our insider from The Athletic, weekly Monday conversations. Now, you've been busy covering the Padres, but you did do a back and forth with your counterpart, Fabian, who covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. And from that team's perspective, clearly lots of injuries. I mean, how dire do you feel like it really is with the Dodgers? Is this all just kind of a slow play so they know that they're going to be healthy at the end of the season as Woods kind of contends for their pitching staff? Or is there real concern in Los Angeles that they could actually be in a fight even to make the playoffs at the end of the year?
Come on.
Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, they're pretty, it seems like very confident that, they went through this last year, right, where they had a ton of pitching injuries. Then, yeah, that's a bigger picture issue, maybe an existential issue at some point. Like, why does this keep happening to them? Even in the minors, they've had, I think, 5 or 6 Tommy John surgeries since Niebla took over, and the only one that the Padres have had. Well, the only notable one is Joe Musgrove. I know John DeBrito had it the other month. I know Bradley Rodriguez didn't look great for him going down last night in El Paso, but the Dodgers are just used to this, I guess, by now. They're just used to, having the most money in the league and then having a bunch of injuries with it. And then because of having the most money and resources and a deep farm system, they're able to kind of weather that storm. And, they have a lot of prospects still, so they can always go out and trade for more pitching if they need it at the deadline. But I think they're sitting fine. They feel like they're not sitting pretty, but they'll be fine in the end. And they got, like you said, Ohtani coming back at some point on the mound. So yeah, it's probably a bigger issue for the Padres on the pitching injury front. But yeah, I think the Dodgers will be just fine. I don't think anyone needs to feel sorry for them.
Now, Dennis, Billy Epler got fired for what the Dodgers are doing currently. Look, Tony Gonsolin pitched the other night. He very well may have elbow discomfort, and I'm using finger quotes, but they also had Michael Kopech ready to come off the IL and Kirby Yates as well. This is what Billy Epler got fired for. Not service time manipulation of the IL. I mean, I have had plenty of people tell me, this isn't really on the up and up, and is that something that's talked about, like within baseball circles, at least in the circles you run in?
Sure. I mean, it's also been talked about for years that, when the Dodgers get on second base, they're really good at relaying signs and doing things that you might not call. I mean, it's permitted in baseball, but I mean, when the Astros got busted for their sign stealing scandal, there were people wondering if the same thing was going to happen to the Dodgers. So there's always been an edge that they seem to push, and they push it as well as anyone. If I guess they haven't really been caught, so to speak, at this point. But I mean, a lot of teams do this, not just the Dodgers.
Sure.
But yeah,
but the volume,
I think
the sheer volume of it is insane.
Right. I mean, it's more noticeable when you have, like you said, all these pitchers on the IL, and maybe some of them are being slow played. Well, actually, definitely some of them are definitely being slow played.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to be there in the end, and they don't need to rush these guys back because they do have the depth to kind of weather it. But that is kind of talk that you hear around baseball, and especially the Padres, because they're so, I wouldn't say laser focused on the Dodgers, because they realize they have to beat other teams too. But it's I just go back to last week in San Francisco. I was there in the clubhouse. They had a Dodgers game on like after every game, and the guys were definitely watching it.
I love it.
They were watching it with some particular interest. So yeah, these guys are locked in.
I love it.
Dennis,
Thanks, D-Land.
appreciate it. Enjoy 3 days in San Diego at Petco Park at least, and we'll chat with you again next Monday. Dennis Lynn, our insider from The Athletic. We'll come back. Final hour of Ben and Woods. Don't go away on 97.3 The Fan. Our thanks again to Dennis Lynn, our weekly Lynn Snyder from The Athletic. I hate to even admit it, but it is the one thing that I do kind of envy of the Dodgers fan base. It's that they don't have to stress and worry the way we feel like we do.
It's almost funny when they do.
All season long.
I laugh at them like, oh my God, we haven't scored a run in 3 innings. Like, and they'll tweet it. And I'm like, do you have no self-awareness at all? Like, like you've got 3 MVPs at the top of your order. You guys are going to be fine. You've got $130 million on the IL, most of which are coming back. You just got Yates and Kopech back into your bullpen. Like, you guys are fine. And when they get all creeped out about not scoring, 7-8 runs a game, it's like, it's that meme of that guy standing there at the gallows looking over going, first time? I mean, truly, like we're white knuckling an entire season. And when they get worked up about it, it's actually hysterical.
But they can feel fairly confident that whatever happens, they feel like they're going to be there at the end. But we don't. The Padres have essentially the same record.
Yeah,
1 game behind the Dodgers.
Correct.
Yet I don't share that, utter 99.9% confidence that, yes, the Padres, of course, will be in the playoffs at the end of the year.
I feel like it's
every single one of these one-run games feels like it could be the one that ends up deciding whether or not the Padres get into the postseason at the end of the year. So they all feel like must-win playoff games.
Yeah.
If they win, you're elated. If they lose, you're devastated because they feel really important. And I think the Dodgers don't feel like they play that many important games during the regular season.
No, I said at the beginning of the year, when you're picked to win 125, you're not going to. I mean, you're more than likely you're not going to. Things happen. And the way they run their organization, Ben, they're not going to do that, right? They have the talent to do it, but they're not going to run their organization in pursuit of some meaningless, wins record. That's an absolutely meaningless record in baseball, the 116 by the Seattle Mariners. You ask them, should we have done differently that year? They probably would have said, yeah, we probably should have done it a little differently instead of chasing 116. Because they weren't all blowouts, down the stretch. They weren't. They didn't win every game 12-1 down the stretch. They probably used arms they probably shouldn't have to win as many games as they could. And I don't remember if there was anybody nipping at their heels in the division. I don't think there was. But yeah, man, like
you saw, they didn't lose a series that year because I was 10 years old, 11 years old. They didn't lose a series until like the last week or two of the season.
It's absolutely insane. So it is funny, man, when you watch them get all spun out about where their team is at right now in June. They're a deep team. They are a deep, deep, talented team.
Now, the Padres picked up a game over the weekend on the Dodgers, who dropped 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. They avoided the sweep yesterday with a 7-3 win. Mookie Betts went deep, and Clayton Kershaw was solid.
Yep.
For 5 or 6 innings when he went out there, struck out 7.
Clayton Kershaw was great. It was the best performance I've ever seen by a pitcher ever
I've never seen
in the history of Major League Baseball.
He's the best.
There's just nobody like him.
He's incredible. Can't believe he's doing it at this age. Oh,
he's very handsome. He's a nice guy.
He's driving down right now. Plenty of
praise for
right
you,
there. There you go. Yeah. We mentioned the Giants. They swept the Braves. All 1-run wins. Their 5 straight wins have all been by 1 run, but doing so, they've tied the Padres for second place and are also a game behind the Dodgers going into their series in Colorado against the Rockies this week. So they're licking their chops at a chance to gain some ground on either or both the Padres or Dodgers this week. The Diamondbacks are reeling. They got swept by the Reds, and they're now starting to get into that territory where the Braves are also in. Like, is this not our year? Everyone thought that this was going to be our year, and this is not going to happen. Zach Gallen has struggled. Obviously, Corbin Burns, they announced over the weekend, is getting the Tommy John surgery, so he'll be out until at least, probably later into next season. That's a huge blow to that team that went out and spent on a frontline starting pitcher and now didn't get much from him and now won't get anything from him for basically the first 2 years of that contract.
That's such a tough scene for them. I think it was our buddy Tommy over the weekend. If I can find the tweet quickly, he listed out. Oh, here we go. The last 4 marquee signings, Ben, for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 6 years, $210 for Corbin Burns. They got 11 starts, and they're going to get more, but it's going to be in a couple of years. Jordan Montgomery, 2 years, $47.5 million, 21 starts, 8-7, 6.23 ERA. Eduardo Rodriguez, 4 years, $80 million, 19 starts, 4-7 with a 5.99. Mad Bum, 5 years, 85, 69 starts, 15-32 with a 5.23 ERA. And his point was, seeing this, I got to give a lot of credit to Preller for free agent starting pitching signings like Pivetta, Lugo, and Waka. Now, we have some of our crosses to bear on the position player side, but as far as the pitching thing goes, AJ and his crew have done a really nice job picking up guys like that.
That's a good point. Took care of business. They finished off a season series sweep of the Rockies. Pete Alonso's having a red-hot June. Hit 2 more home runs.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere he's on pace for 61 runs batted in this month.
That's
like the franchise record's 34.
That's
so
an astounding number.
That's how good he's off to a start here in the month of June. They won 13-5 yesterday. Here was a stunner. Pirates swept the Phillies over the weekend. Paul Skeens got another no decision yesterday, but went 7 2/3, 1 run, and the Pirates pulled out a 2-1 win. It was their first series sweep of the year. They took longer than the Rockies to sweep a series, but they did it against a really good Phillies team. I'm sure the Phillies expected to go in and win that series, maybe sweep it. Instead, they lose all 3. And
they lost 5 in a row, haven't
they've fallen behind the Padres and the Giants in the wild card standings as well. Now, I think battling with the Cardinals, throw a blanket over all those teams right now. That's 4 teams all battling for a wild card, and there's only 3 wild card spots.
How about those Cardinals, man? Finding a way to take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. They did it with starting pitching and some good games in that series. I saw a few of those. Nasty.
2 of the best in each league scored off over the weekend as the Tigers and Cubs battled. The Tigers taking 2 of 3, getting a shutout yesterday. Jack Flaherty and 3 relievers combining on a 4-0 win over the Cubbies. The Mariners avoided the sweep. You saw Saturday's game in person. You talked about that earlier. You and the family went up to the Big A, but yesterday George Kirby struck out 14 in 7 innings as the Mariners got the 3-2 win yesterday. But you had a good time.
I did,
going
man.
up to the Big A.
I really did. It was just a really cool, calm vibe. Good game too. Mariners scored 4 in the first. And you're like, oh man, poor Angels, and they come battling back. I did have to watch in person Chris Taylor home run and almost vomited into my bucket of nachos as I had to watch him hit his first homer. The Angels couldn't escape him. If I tried, ended up hitting an RBI double later as well. But it was cool, man, getting to see. It was sad. Like, Bo really loves Julio Rodriguez. And did you see the play? He was running second to third. Arozarena hits a missile, hits him in the ankle. He's out, and they had to pull him from the game. Just a gnarly. I got to see Joe Adell hit 2 bombs. So that was cool. Hit one into the fountain, the rocks out there. So that was good.
Speaking of getting hit, Rays beat the Marlins yesterday 3-2, but I believe it was Saturday. In the very common, you see it at the end of every half inning, pitcher throws his last warm-up pitch, and then the catcher throws the ball down to second base.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God.
But
I watched this at least 40 times.
Unfortunately, Ryan Weathers' head got in the way of the catcher throwing down to second base. I laugh. It's not really that funny. He ended up having to leave the game later.
Daddy, he hit me in the head. Yeah. He's throwing down to second. He smoked me in the
Just
dome.
absolutely got
Well, which
smoked
side did
by
you
his-
walk off?
Well,
Ryan?
Daddy,
catcher.
I told you.
I walked right in the
Walked
lane.
right in. He was bleeding, wasn't he?
It was bad. Yeah, it wasn't good. He had to leave the game. Tried to stay in, but had to leave it.
Daddy.
He's been having a really good season for
tell
the
Mom I'm
Marlins.
all right.
So, yeah, that was the
He was
last thing they
pissed,
wanted
too.
to see.
Like, he was
Well,
mad. I mean, yeah. It was an accident.
It is,
Obviously, he
obviously.
didn't do it on purpose.
I mean, the pitcher can stand wherever he wants. It's the catcher's responsibility not to hit the pitcher on the throw.
Also, just duck.
Well, he was looking
Ball.
away.
He was walking towards third
but
base.
his head, he was looking out toward the outfield.
It's a good throw by a catcher, by the way.
It was a little low. honestly.
No, it wasn't. It was head
It
high.
was-
It's exactly where he wants to be.
It was, but he was throwing it back to the second base.
Yeah, he's throwing it down.
I think it was going to bounce. It doesn't matter if it's a good throw or not. You don't hit the pitcher. It's on the catcher not to hit the pitcher
Daddy,
coming back.
Daddy, my head hurts. Daddy, my head hurts.
Couple other finals. The Orioles got cooled off by the A's, who had lost like 19 of 20. They win the series, beat Baltimore 5-1 yesterday. Battle of AL playoff contenders. The Twins avoid a sweep against the Blue Jays with a 6-3. Both of those teams, I think, are in wild card position. The AL's not like the NL. If you're like 4 or 5 games above 500, you are clearly in playoff position right now, as opposed to the NL, where you have to be double digits above 500 to really be in a playoff spot. Let's see. Royals beat the White Sox 7-5 to avoid the sweep. Jack Caglione, 4 for 4 after a slow start, had his first big game in the big leagues. Red Sox beat the Yankees with 5 home runs on Sunday Night Baseball, 11-7. In the loss, though, Aaron Judge hit 2 more home runs. He now has 23 homers. He's hitting .396. He is having one of the greatest offensive seasons we have really ever seen to this point.
No doubt.
It's unbelievable.
So locked in.
What Aaron Judge is doing.
You guys saw the story too. I couldn't believe this, man. The rookie pitcher for the Boston Red Sox came out before the game. What was his name again? Dobbins. Dobbins, is that right? Hunter Dobbins?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Comes out and he says, if the New York Yankees were the last team to offer me a contract, I would retire. And Eddie Perez, before
he doesn't just play for the Red Sox. He grew up as a Red Sox fan.
No, he didn't. His dad was a Red Sox fan.
His dad.
Yes,
I thought he was the Red Sox
So that was the weirdest part. He actually said, it's not like I'm a diehard Red Sox fan or anything. He goes, I just hate the Yankees. I was, okay. So he says, I hate them. I wouldn't take their contract. Like if they offered me a contract, it was the last one I got, I'd say no, I'd retire, which is as a generational hater myself, I do appreciate the stick-to-itiveness. Absolutely. And he's like, no, I wouldn't take it. They asked Judge, Eddie Perez asked Judge before the game, and Judge goes, he hadn't heard it. He goes, what did he say? He goes, really? Huh. Oh. He goes, I got nothing for you there. He goes, I enjoy coming to work, playing for this organization every day. Gives the Judge typical cliched answer, but he looked at him like, did he really say that? He did. Oh, okay. Judge gets him for the bomb in the first, and I go, this is the dumbest thing this kid could have done. Kid hung in there, and Red Sox actually won that game.
Probably endears him to Red Sox fans to say something like that, but ultimately, it's going to come back and bite him. If he has a good career and he hits free agency at some point, you're going to want the Yankees bidding on you, for your services. There's only so many teams out there. You can't all of a sudden just say, I'm not going to play for them and them and them and expect to really maximize your value over your career. It's a weird thing for a professional baseball player to say.
Yeah.
It's one thing for a fan to say it, or you're growing up like, I would never play for that team. You said it yourself before the show when we were talking about this. If Bo has the fortune of being a great young baseball player and gets drafted out of high school by the Los Angeles Dodgers,
world's biggest Dodger,
you will be the biggest Dodger fan in the world.
Actually, nobody does it quite like they do in that organization. I mean, they're just smart the way that they do things. How they draft, develop.
Once you become a big leaguer, or even a minor leaguer, you have to give up your childhood.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Allegiances. You really do. And you play for who you play for, and you give all you can for that organization.
It becomes a storyline, a minor storyline every once in a while where you're like, hey, he grew up down the street, he's back here pitching in front of his home crowd or something like that. But it's few and far between. Most of these guys just kind of let it go. Most of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think some you have. And then once you get in the league, you're like, bro, I hate that team, or I hate that organization, or whatever. Like that happens, obviously. But, as far as
Joe Musgrove has always hated the Dodgers.
Correct.
Because he grew up in San Diego.
That's exactly right.
And even when he was in Houston and won a World Series, it's F the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Always. Absolutely F.
Exactly. 100%.
The question is, would Joe Musgrove ever pitch for the Dodgers, though, in his life?
I think the answer is yes.
If it came down to it, his contract runs out with the Padres, and the Dodgers are like, hey, we really would love you to pitch your last 2 or 3 years. We're willing to overpay for you. The answer would have to be yes, right? I mean, you can't just say no if that's the best opportunity you have out there.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. As a fan, you don't say that, but as a player,
I thought it was incredibly ballsy, brazen, whatever you want to call it, taking the mound at Yankee Stadium, and he got booed pretty good. And then when Judge touched him up, you went, oh, dude, this is going to be bad for this kid. But like I said, he knuckled down and started mowing guys down. He's got good stuff.
Jay to the J.O. makes the perfect point. Tony Gwynn Jr. played for the Dodgers. I mean,
yeah,
Tony Gwynn Jr. played for the Dodgers. And he says, I'm sure that was a bit difficult. I don't think it was, because Tony Gwynn Jr. just was a professional, and he knew how
he
it
needed
worked.
a job, dude.
He had an opportunity.
Yeah.
They gave him an
Was he
opportunity.
supposed to retire?
Of course,
No.
of course, he played for the Los Angeles Dodgers. That it's a no-brainer, honestly, for professional baseball players, which is why the Hunter Dobbins comment was just a little weird, especially given the time and the circumstances. You may have heard Paulie during the last couple of minutes. Played our sounder to win. I see people calling in. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Padres Royals game on June 20th. Now, it is Star Wars weekend. Paulie wanted me to point out that this is not the theme game ticket. This is just a get-in ticket
Correct.
for the game.
Get you in the door.
If you want the theme game ticket, you're on your own for that one. But they will be playing Star Wars weekend, Padres Royals, June 20th through 22nd. You can join the team for galaxy-sized fun and secure your seats at padres.com/tickets. Everyone's calling in, though, at 833-288-0973. Paulie's going to take the fifth caller and give out a pair of tickets to Padres Royals coming up on the next homestand. This is just a 3-game homestand, by the way, for the San Diego Padres. Once this is over, they're back right out on the road starting Friday in Arizona.
Chris in the chat said, did we ever see Tony Gwynn Sr. in a Dodgers hat? Be better, Woods. Listen, Tony Gwynn Sr. had a career with the San Diego Padres. I mean, listen.
He's literally named
He's
Mr. Padre.
He's Mr. Padre. I'm not Mr. Padre or even Junior
But
Mr.
I
Padre.
promise
So
you, Tony Sr. wanted his son to do well when he was with the Dodgers.
he was not, I'll tell you this, he was not actively rooting against Junior when he played for the Dodgers.
Honestly, he was not.
Yeah.
All right. Once Paulie gives away those tickets, we will come back. We'll talk more about the pitching matchups for this coming series against the Dodgers, and then Paulie's going to give us some Reindl Report headlines, including first 2 games of the NBA Finals now complete, and we've got, of course, all of his other headlines. What other story we're going to get to? Well, we can.
I'm going to ruin Woods' day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. All coming up with Ben and
sick.
Woods after a check of traffic on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And speaking of the basketball final series, you can play Prize Picks all of the series long. They've got special plays. Keep an eye out for squares like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and points. Right now, I think it was around 32. That guy's automatic for like 34 almost every single game. You just pick more or less on Prize Picks, and you can win real money with daily fantasy lineups up to 2,000 times your cash, or baseball, or hockey, or golf, or tennis. Just had the big tennis tournament over the weekend. Was pretty spectacular. We may talk a little bit about that on the Reindl Report as well. You're just picking more or less 2 to 6 players, setting your lineups every day as often as you like with Prize Picks, running your own game. All you have to do is sign up and download the app at their website. When you do, use the code KWFN. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code KWFN to get $50 instantly from Prize Picks when you play your first $5 lineup. Power plays to win more. Flex plays. You don't have to win every single pick, and you can still win money on your lineup by doing flex plays at Prize Picks as well. Check it out today. Run your game with Prize Picks. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Taking a look at the pitching matchups for this weekend. By the way, we did give away those Padres tickets to Nick, I believe, Nate called in and took the Padres tickets, listening for the Mike Schultz sounder for the Padres Royal Series. And this is just 3 games at home and then right back on the road. 1 day off and then 13 more in a row in this brutal month of June for your San Diego Padres. The schedule definitely more challenging this month, but they've gotten off to, as good a start as you can hope for, going 4-3 on a tough road trip against the Giants and the Brewers over the first 7 days on the road of that trip. After Thursday, then they go to Arizona, and then they go to Los Angeles for 4. So 7 straight against the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers.
Those are the games that start at midnight too, right?
7:10.
7:10.
So every show that we do for the next 2 weeks after today will be breaking down a Padres Dodgers game, with the exception of Friday being a
off day
with
Monday
Thursday night.
We'll break down 3 games against Arizona.
Okay, yeah, and then right back into previewing Padres Dodgers.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week will all be after a Padres Dodgers game, all midweek. 7.
What did we do to deserve this?
And they'll be done with more than half of their games against the LA Dodgers by the time next week ends. We will have played more than half the season series now against the LA Dodgers.
Man.
And they'll have gotten started against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they'll have played every single National League West opponent at least once, and most of them at least twice at that point. Starts, though, with this series. And, the Dodgers, Yeah, their pitching rotation remains in flux. They got Dustin May, who's the only one of two. He and Yamamoto are the only two who have remained from the starting rotation to begin the season.
Has May stayed the whole time?
He has stayed the whole time.
Has he?
Yeah. And
congratulations.
He will face Nick Pivetta tonight in probably the marquee match. Well, is definitely the marquee pitching matchup of this series at 6:40.
Oh yeah, I just saw this. Dustin May has already reached a new personal high for innings pitched in a season, 61 2/3. Wow. Okay. Their workhorse.
Nick Pivetta has put up better numbers this season. ERA, WHIP, across the board. Nick Pivetta's numbers have been stronger. Is facing a tough lineup.
Oh yeah,
Dodgers lineup doesn't really give you much breaks. 1 through 9.
No, and they've got some guys that have seen Nick Pivetta before. Certainly not the world. Let's see. Freddie Freeman has seen him a ton. 36 ABs, hitting 333 with a 941 OPS.
That's just Freddie Freeman.
That's Freddie Freeman. Yeah, it's about any pitcher. Yeah,
just
pretty
about
much.
everybody.
Teoscar's seen him 26 ABs to a 154. He's scuffling right now. That's a guy. I've said it, man. He's low key with all the acquisitions they had in the last few years, and it's been everybody. He low key has been their best. He has just been as steady as it gets, but he's scuffling right now. You don't want to see him get hot this week. Certainly, Max Muncy hitting 200 off Nicky P. Shohei Ohtani 333. His OPS is 1250. Benny's hit 2 bombs off Nick Pivetta, so definitely want to steer clear of him potentially. Mookie doesn't seem Nick Pivetta all that well, and on the flip side. Padres against Dustin May. Tatis hits 250 off him. Manny, I thought was going to be about 110. He's actually hitting 250. He's got him for a couple bombs because when Dustin May first came up, dude, I remember a couple of those matchups. He chewed Manny up. I mean, chewed him up.
He chewed everybody.
It was 2-seamer hands and it was slider away. And Manny was like, "This sucks." There's just those guys that you don't. Doesn't look like you match up very well. Manny's actually found a way to get him a couple times. Crony hitting almost 300 off him, and Xander Bogaerts hitting 333 off of Dustin May.
Dustin May is still nasty, and I imagine he's going to be nasty for a while.
Yeah.
But when he came into the league,
Good
when
God.
we first saw him, I was like, he's going to be one of the nastiest pitchers of all time.
I thought he was
his size, the hair.
I
the
was
stuff.
like, he's gonna win. He's gonna win 25 games.
I was like, what are you supposed to do against?
He got hurt, and then he had the weird esophagus puncture thing, and he was out. And so yeah, man, it's he's not. When he's on, he can twirl it, dude, with the best of them. But
Yeah,
so can
he's
Nicky
given up
P.
more hits than any Dodger pitcher. Now it's partly
pitched
because
more
he's
innings.
made all the starts, so he's been out there, but he's not been unhittable. I think the biggest difference, obviously, though, if you look at the lineups, the Dodgers have 7 players who have hit at least 9 home runs.
That's bananas.
Padres
7.
have 3.
Yeah,
They have
and Manny just got there.
Gavin Sheets, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr. And Tatis, has barely hit at all recently, as has Sheets. Meanwhile, they have Shohei Ohtani with 23, and then Pajes with 12.
Our offense hasn't scored.
Teoscar with 10, Mookie and Freddie with 9, Max Muncy, who's gotten hot lately, has 9.
He'll never
and
be
Tommy
hot,
Edman
ever.
has.
He'll never be hot.
Yeah, well,
Hot with the bat.
He's been hot with the bat lately with 9. And then even Kike has 7 and Will Smith has 5. So, I mean, power-wise, they've hit almost double the number of home runs. What did you say the Padres had, 53?
Something like that.
I think they're
Down near the bottom.
102 home runs for the Dodgers this season.
And it'll be one of those. It's going to be like Michael Conforto, he was like an over 30 skid with runners in scoring position. Finally got one. He'll hit 6 RBI tonight. Like it's just
He's
one
a
of those
negative
guys.
0.7 WAR. He's not been a good pickup for the Dodgers.
No.
But they have very few.
Would you take him in left field here? Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, you would in a heartbeat.
Negative 0.7 WAR at that price tag. They'd probably unload him at this point. Everybody else, though, is really having a pretty solid season for the Dodgers at this point. I mean, their lineup is loaded.
Yeah.
And,
they're deep.
So there's no escape hatches like there is in the Padres lineup. When we were talking with Craig earlier, you face the Padres lineup. You don't let Manny hurt you right now.
Yeah.
And, either the guys at the top are cold or the guys at the bottom are not good offensively.
The guys at the bottom.
They're the guys at the bottom. And the Dodgers don't really have that. They, maybe you'll get lucky on a backup catcher day. You'll get Austin Barnes and you got Michael
No,
Conforto.
he got cut.
Oh, he's gone too.
He's
That's
gone.
right.
They
He's
got
gone.
now you get Dalton rushing.
That's right. They've even upgraded there as well.
Hai Song Kim.
He's hitting 414 somehow.
Who? Hai Song
Kim, yeah.
Fantastic.
So there is not a lot of
not a lot of room for
opportunities.
error. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a tough
Now,
draw.
the pitching has been shaky. The bullpen has been decimated, but they did get Kirby Yates and Michael Kopech
Yep.
back.
Yeah,
so
they're much better than they
it's-
were.
Yeah. And you can beat the Dodgers by outscoring them most days, but do we have a lot of faith that this Padres offense can outscore anybody right now?
Yep.
This makes this series a challenging one for the Padres, to be sure. They need to get going. They need to get some of the bats going.
Yep.
They don't need everybody to get hot at once, but they need either Tatis or Merrill or Sheets to kind of get back going again. Sheets has quietly gone cold too. He's done so much for the Padres this season, unexpectedly, but yeah, he didn't do much on this road trip either offensively.
Yep. That's not uncommon. I mean, nobody's really doing it right now.
So, well, will we see some lineup shuffling? I
No.
don't know. We'll find out. Probably.
My guess is no.
Probably the same. All right,
No.
let's take our last time out.
Are you sure, Skip? You don't want to mix up a little bit?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Craig's idea of putting
Crony
in the leadoff
He's getting
spot
on
with his
base.
OBP. At least he tends to see a lot of pitches, and it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Paulie will get his Reindl Report. He'll give Woods some disappointing news.
Great.
And we'll have some great calls from the NBA from over the weekend and before. All coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods and I want to tell you about trustandwill.com. It is not a subject you probably want to think about a lot, but here's the good news. With trustandwill.com, you got to think about it for about 20 minutes or so. Get your questions answered. Get your legal documents, a real will, a real trust that you can put in your filing cabinet or in your safe, and make sure your family's protected in case something happens to you in the future.
Absolutely. Very, very simple to do. Just go to trustandwill.com and they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. You answer those questions, and then you wrap this process up in about 20 to 30 minutes. So go to trustandwill.com, use the code FAN when you check out, FAN. You'll get 20% off, and they'll send you your estate documents. Throw them in the desk. Forget about them. Let your significant other know where they are, and then you move on with your life. And they're going to need them eventually. Just hope that it's no time soon.
Yeah, we did the process ourselves, and you can go as detailed as you want, or you can keep it fairly simple. Either way, you'll have those real documents at the end. Again, use the code FAN, get 20% off, free shipping of your estate documents at trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Kind of glad Nick Pivetta is on the mound tonight. That kind of storming intensity that he's got. Good way to kick off the Padres-Dodgers season series.
I do like
ATP, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I do like watching Nick Pivetta toe the rubber for the San Diego Padres. I've really enjoyed his work. I enjoy his intensity. He's a fiery guy. That can go if you get touched up for like 3 or 4 in the first. It's like, great, all right. How do we manage this? But he's been really good for us, and it just, again, the navigation of that lineup is enough to give you fits.
Well, these are always intense games,
yeah,
but he always pitches like every game's intense.
Every game, yeah, for sure.
Feels like he'll fit in well for tonight's game. All right, Paulie's got his Reindl Report. Get to those headlines right after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, the 805 wins the prize for the most problems this morning, guys. In fact, we're wrapping things up with a 2-car collision northbound 805 just before No Bell. Everything is in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Happy Monday, gentlemen.
Happy Monday, Paulie.
All right, let's start off, get you caught up to speed here a little bit in the NBA Finals. Yesterday was Game 2 between the Thunder and the Pacers. It was all OKC. They evened up the series 123-107. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Game 2. I actually want to go back to Game 1. Now, we talked about it a little bit on Friday morning. It was Thursday night was Game 1. Thunder were leading the entire game.
Up 15 in the fourth quarter.
Up big late. And then the Pacers did what they've done all postseason. They chipped away and they chipped away and they chipped away. And they had a shot to win it at the end. And we talked about it. Another buzzer beater from Tyrese Halliburton. But what we didn't have, because I didn't see this, it wasn't posted actually until Saturday morning, was typically, whether it's a Padres big moment or a big moment in sports at a championship game, we like to play all the calls.
Love the calls.
Where sometimes you'll get the Spanish call, you'll get the home
So we're doing this like 5 days late.
A little late, but it's worth it.
Okay.
It's that good.
Trust us.
It's
here.
that good.
Trust us.
So I went and found all the calls, but because it's the NBA Finals, now we typically, as far as non-English speaking languages, you'll get some Spanish calls, whether it's Eddie Ortega or our friends with the Korean calls sometimes. Now, fewer and farther between when Ha-Seong Kim is no longer on the Padres. That's how we got to use so many of those calls during
Along
the
with
Padres.
soccer, basketball is the most international of the games and has the most attention across the globe for a series like this.
Now, I've got a couple of highlights from languages we have never played on the air, I believe.
Right.
And we're going to start with the end of NBA Finals Game 1 in Italian.
Oh!
Hey, there he is. Halliburton.
Attacca, Gilgeous Alexander, centro dell'area, si separa e sbaglia, rimbalzo e la prende Indiana e va in attacco per vincere gara 1. Halliburton contro Wallace, attenzione ad Halliburton, è l'uomo dei finali, il tiro è suo e va dentro, e va dentro, e va dentro, a 3 decimi, Tyrese Halliburton.
That's amazing.
I was like, okay. I mean, bro, this guy had the Finnish call. He had Albanian calls. I mean, he was all over the place. I was like, all right, I need
Italian was
more.
good. Italian was good.
Now, can this one take down the champions? Are the Korean calls? I think it's the same two guys that just call every major sporting event. And I'm not joking when I say that. I really think they're just like they do it remotely.
The two
and they're
Korean announcers for every American game.
Exactly. But here is how that game sounded in Russian.
Шей. Ой-ой-ой-ой. Выносит средний, сложный и забирает мяч. Инди, последняя атака. Нет тайм-аутов, не хотят они. Тайрис Halliburton решать будет со средней. Тайрис Halliburton на победу!
Опять он! Снова этот мужик с нулем на спине!
I really don't know if all of these guys travel to do championship games or if they're doing it remotely
on monitors.
On
somewhere, I
monitors.
think. There's no way they can fit them all in booths or on Radio Row at a game. So.
I mean, we had Brazil, France, Iceland, the Netherlands, Croatia. You heard Italy, you heard Russian. Was Russian good enough to take down the Korean?
I don't know.
Call?
That was pretty good.
I think the Koreans stay undefeated as the champions. Listen to how this sounded for them.
패가 걸려 있습니다. 풀어 실패합니다. 리바운드 인디애나. 무섭습니다 인디애나.
작전 없이 가요.
자 언더독인 인디애나가 익숙한 상황을 맞이한다. 할리버튼.
Yes. Oh.
Wow.
I love it. Save that.
Wow.
Save that. Wow. I love it. That's so good.
Bro's dying. And one more time for the Korean call.
Wow.
I mean, they just are screaming.
Wow.
상황을 맞이한다. 할리버튼. Wow.
It's
I guess
fantastic.
wow is the universal language.
Wow.
I love it. Love it.
I texted you guys on Saturday, I think, when I saw those. I was like, God, I know there's already going to be a second game by the time we hit the air on Monday, but anytime you can do all the calls like
Dominic
that.
said it's the screaming over each other that is the best, which is universally recognized as the worst thing you can do if you're an announcer.
But
Don't
every
scream
other
over each
language,
other.
that's all they do.
No problem.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
자 언더독인 인디애나가 익숙한 상황을 맞이한다. 할리버튼.
Imagine Mud and Don just like talking over each other the whole. You're like, hey, somebody
Don
dial
would
it
murder
in.
Mud
Oh,
if he did that. Don would murder Mud.
Yeah, he would.
Jesse might murder
100%.
Tony if they did that.
Yes. All right, we'll switch gears here. Very thrilling end to the French Open. Yeah, yesterday this was happening as we were arriving to our Tier 1 game.
I was kind of
and
following along, but I couldn't really watch because of the Padres game. But it was an amazing match.
Yeah, so Carlos Alcaraz came back to win in 5 sets. He took down the world number 1 Yannick Sinner to win his second straight French Open title. He was at one point down 5-3 and then love 40 on serve in the 4th set. So, I mean, basically, like, the way I was trying to think about it is if you're not super familiar with tennis, every once in a while you'll hear in like a baseball game, oh, and then they were down to their last strike and they were able to rally and come back and win. It's like being down to your last strike like 5 or
Over
6
and
different
over.
times. And to withstand that and then come back and
How
win.
long was the match? Like 5.5 hours?
5 hours and 29 minutes. It's the longest French Open men's final in the Open era and the second longest Grand Slam final ever.
Are they trying to do to tennis what they do to baseball? Like, you got to speed this thing up. We're going to speed this thing up. Now, they already have great reviews in tennis. Phenomenal.
Yep.
Is there a clock?
Well, I
No,
mean,
and it
in
goes
the,
until the game-
in the
the match is
French
over.
Open, it's not that they're taking too much time. The points, like there's sometimes like 35 back and forth
Volleys.
because on clay, it's harder to smash a winner because the
Yeah.
ball is a little slower. So they can get to so many more balls. So they just keep rallying back and forth. Each
It's
point just takes
exhausting
a
to
long
think
time.
about.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to think about
At
playing.
Wimbledon, it's a lot of aces and then winners on the next point.
Yeah, 'cause the
so
ball
they're
doesn't
really
bounce.
short points.
Yeah.
It just skids and goes. It's too fast to even return. But
Yeah.
on clay, they can return a bunch
Can
of them.
you imagine? I mean, like, have you ever played I've played rounds of golf that were 5 hours long, and you're not exerting any physical
It's
energy.
golf.
You're sitting on your ass waiting for the guy in front of you to tee off.
I'll give some props, by the way, to the golfer who won yesterday. Ryan Fox from New Zealand beat Sam Burns in a playoff at the Canadian
Look what
Open.
you did.
He plays so fast. He gets up
Does
and
he?
he
Oh.
hits it.
What's his name?
Ryan Fox.
My new favorite golfer.
He gets up and literally 10 seconds, he's already hitting it. Like the other guy hits.
What a
they
G.
gotta cut the camera quickly to Ryan Fox because he's already playing his shot.
Patrick Cantlay sitting in the corner just
forever,
crying.
It was good for the game to see him do that yesterday, how fast he played. And
That
he
is
still
good for
won
the game.
tournament.
Yes.
Like you can play well and play quickly. You
Yeah.
don't have to take
You don't
forever
have to sit and
on
wear it
every
out.
shot.
I can't even imagine 5.5 hours of tennis, championship level
cardio.
tennis.
Oh, my
I mean,
Exhausting.
dude, I played tennis 1 year in high school. It's the most physically exhausting sport I've ever played. Singles tennis, it just kills you. And I didn't play for 5.5 hours. I can't even, with the pressure of trying to go back to back,
It's
especially.
so gnarly.
Insane. And then finally, to wrap things up here, a little Hollywood news to ruin Woodsy's day. Some of my favorite movies out there, I've said it before, are the musical biopics, stories of somebody's life or a band's career. And we have a new film coming out called Shout It Out Loud.
Yes.
You might have talked about this because it's been rumored now for a couple of years. And it is the biopic for the band Kiss.
Yes.
And it's being directed by McG, who has done a lot of music videos for some big name bands. He's also done a few movies. You might have heard of him. And details are still very sparse. Like we said, they thought this would be coming out on Netflix last year when it got announced like 3 years ago. Didn't happen. Production got slowed. So we're looking at sometime later next year or even 2027 for the Kiss movie.
Okay.
But it was announced today that we have the actor who will be playing Paul Stanley. Any guesses
Is it
based on Paul Stanley?
Is it Pete Davidson?
No, it is not. It's actually going to be one Nick Jonas, formerly of the Jonas Brothers. Nick Jonas has been cast to play
The
Paul
great
Stanley.
Paul Stanley, the legendary, the star man, the front man of Kiss. Stanley Eisen.
There has been it says they're looking for a big name actor to play Gene Simmons.
Cool.
And no word yet on Ace Frehley or Peter Criss.
Do they have to have good voices?
I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, I kind of enjoyed The Dirt, the Motley Crue biopic, but I read the book. The book was way gnarlier than the movie, and the movie was pretty gnarly. Kiss is going to be an interesting story.
I mean, you may not love Nick Jonas, but he can obviously sing. I mean, he can.
They're not. I don't think they're hiring
Are
him to
they-
sing.
well,
They're
I know. I
hiring
mean,
him to
they-
act.
are
I don't
they-
think they're going to be singing their own stuff. Can he do the Paul Stanley banter? Now that's what's going to be important because you will have
That's what will set him apart.
as they're playing their first gigs. Like, good evening, Boston. I love your baked beans. Like, he's the greatest. If you don't know, Paul Stanley's shtick is incredible. It's his between song banter. We've done this before. There's a whole YouTube page that is dedicated to just his between song banter, and it is legendary.
I love just throwing out cities and having you do
and just do Paul Stanley banter.
Like Albuquerque.
I've done Albuquerque.
I
Give me
know
a
that
fresh
one.
one. I'm
All
not going to
right,
redo it.
El Paso.
El Paso, I sure do love your salsa. Where my chihuahuas at? Past the old El Paso, right up here to Paul Stanley. You got to have the shtick between songs.
Minneapolis.
The hell do they have in Minneapolis? I sure did love your cold winters. I have no idea. I've never been to Minneapolis. No idea. But that's his thing, man. He gets into town and they'll switch the words of a song, to have the city. And I mean, they're very corny, but I love them.
I do have the clip. It's got us talking over it, but this was how it sounded. This was like 4 years ago now.
All right, listen.
Listen, he always
I
says
want to
listen.
know if we got any people here tonight that like to get high. people tonight that are high.
He's unbelievable, dude. He's absolutely incredible. There's nobody like. Oh, that's perfect, Megan. Minneapolis, I love your Mall of America. It's perfect.
And then they all go,
yeah! San Diego, let me see those fish tacos. Hold them up. Like, he's the best. There's nobody like him.
It's so funny how anytime the concert you're at, if they say the city's name, you lose your mind. Bro,
Yeah, San Diego.
I was at Ludacris last week. He has a song called Area Codes, talking about how he's got women in different area codes.
Sure.
He goes, but ain't nobody better than the 619 and the 858. Like, yeah. What about the 760?
Just a bunch of idiots. All of us. We all do it. We all get fired up. I'm excited for that. All right. Okay. Now that you put them side by side, dude, I see it.
You see it?
I absolutely see him as a young Paul Stanley. You just blew my mind. Now you have old Paul Stanley next to young Nick Jonas, but he's got the face. He's got the face for it. Oh, I'm in. All right.
And the chest hair for it.
Yeah, he
too,
does.
apparently.
I've just changed my mind entirely. Thank you, Paulie.
All right, that is it for a Monday edition of Ben and Woods. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 to talk Padres Dodgers, first game of the series. Good luck to the Padres. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. I believe Braden is back from his trip and will take over next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.